That hurt.
Then what is this thing?
Gio should never play for U.S. men's national team again because of the action of his parents.
What an idiot! Oh!
What type of Muppet does this?
Muppets. Absolute Muppets.
I'm not going to be the best person to give a whole explanation here, but that's...
Booty! Sick! Booty!
Fucking deal with it. What are we really doing?
Yeah, I can agree with that. There are a zebra in between a tarantula and an elephant.
Has been nothing more than a sham.
Yeah, we didn't play well, but you know what? At the end of the day, we got the job done.
It's going to be a good time for sure.
Oh, sex with the first cousin would indeed be incest. And
Welcome to the Straight Red Card. Hey, by the way, Brett, did you know what I used to make the sound effect of the soccer ball hitting my head or Butthead's head?
2 pieces of wood.
No, actually an empty bottle of vodka, plastic empty bottle.
It's fair.
Just
I can hear it now.
Yeah. So it kind of ruins it, though, if you know that. Looks like you're in Gnawbone, Indiana. What you doing in Gnawbone?
Nephew had a birthday party on Sunday, and we went to Brown County State Park.
Okay.
They had a nice little water park in there. But driving through, we drove through Gnawbone, and I Gnawbone. And then I recanted the story, how we talked about it, and you're like giving me the whole history lesson. Yeah. It was once a French settlement, and you got redneckified. And then
yes, it did.
So I'm telling my wife this story, and I could literally hear her eyes glassing over, going, "Oh my God, is it over?"
I find it completely fascinating. I don't understand it. But yeah, it used to be named Nebon. And then they couldn't pronounce it. It was settled by French settlers. And then later on, motherfuckers just couldn't pronounce Gnawbone. I live in Gnawbone. No, motherfucker, you live in Nebon. Come on. And by the way, right behind you is the very heights of the ski resort, the former ski resort there in Brown County. So if you drove past that, you might have seen it. And it is the highest point. Yep. It's on the right side if you're heading towards Columbus. Right? Yeah. On the right side of your away from Columbus back to Bloomington, it's on your left side, obviously.
Gotcha.
All right.
But we after the party driving back, I'm like, hey, you know what? We got Florida trip coming up here soon, and then my whatever 4-day long birthday celebration in August that we hope to. We're actually going down to Kentucky to a nice Airbnb there.
Nice.
This year, since we no longer have the free spot off of Lake Michigan anymore.
Oh, that's
but I was telling my wife, I'm like, all right, I've been saying it for months now, but starting tomorrow, I'm gonna be watching what I'm eating, gonna be drinking less.
Really? Why?
Just to get in a little bit better shape before going to the beach.
Oh, you're already worried about that. We're not even in February yet.
Yeah, I know, but I got like 2 months until Florida.
You don't want them to push you back in the ocean, huh?
Yeah.
He's beached. Push him back. Help, help. Push him back in the ocean.
What do I do though? What do I do after telling her that we get home? And I drank about a quarter of a handle. Had 2 things of Evan Williams bourbon, maybe like 2 fingers each, give or take, and I woke up this morning going, fuck.
At least you didn't have a black
Today
eye.
was a super, not again. Yeah.
No black eye this time. I should, because I couldn't remember it last show, my grandfather commanded a Stug company, and Stug is short for Sturmgeschütz, which is essentially, it's a tank, doesn't have a turret that can move. It's stationary. And it was an anti-tank weapon for the most part. Stugs were probably the best. But anyhow, at one point in the war, they were running low on ammo. They're running out of gas. The Russians were right on their heels. So he just said, all right, everybody, let's turn around and go back to Germany. That's what he did. And he went straight for his hometown and warned them the Russians were coming and helped get most of them, the townspeople, onto a boat that got them to Denmark and out of the way.
Was it 1 lantern or 2 lanterns?
No lanterns involved, but I do know that one of my great aunts didn't like boats and water, so they had to get her drunk to get on the boat to Denmark. Like, listen, you don't understand what the Russians are coming and what they're about to do to you, specifically women. So
a little donkey punch, and you're good.
No, they gave you a lot more than donkey punches.
Oh no, I'm talking about to get your aunt on the boat.
Oh no, they gave her what is that, schnapps. They gave her lots of schnapps.
Yeah.
They got her so drunk she passed out, and they carried her onto the boat. Anyhow, all interesting historical stuff. Speaking of interesting stuff, remember you were telling me about what's that, hentai? Hentai. So I thought, I really don't know anything. I don't know anything about, a lot of the Japanese subculture, right? In that
Fair, yeah.
So yeah, I did a little research, got on the wiki, if you want to call that research, and I learned
5 rubs later.
I learned a new word. You ready for this one?
Go for it.
Futanari. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Don't know.
Futanari. It's basically essentially women with penises who like to have sex with other women, not men. So women they look like women, just all women, but they have giant phalluses, and they have sex with other women that don't have giant phalluses.
We talked about this with not this particularly, but remember we talked about I don't know if we did this on the show or not, actually. we talked about there's a trans woman rugby player in Australia.
Oh yeah,
and she was just running amok of the field, like foot and a half taller, about like 250 pounds.
Oh, she's built like a man. She's built like the Hulk.
And they're like, hey, now you transitioned. Do you like guys? And he goes, oh no, I love chicks.
No wonder. Yeah, that's why he's hanging out in their locker room and whatever. So, but anyhow, this is another.
I loved her answer.
I love chicks.
I love chicks.
Apparently, that's what Futanari describes, is that relationship. So anyhow, it's new to me. I guess I'm kind of naive about Japanese underculture, sexual stuff. It's not one I really know much about. So I don't know. I get curious. I'm a curious guy. Also, did you know? Here's the interesting thing. Okay, it may not be that interesting, but guys in Belgium, they always have the name Van in between. So it's like Raymond van Barneveld, who happens to be a world champion dart thrower. And then you have Michael van Gerwen, another one. He's probably the best darter in the world. So 2 guys are they both from Belgium or Holland? Holland, my bad. And so I'm like, you know what? Van Barneveld. Is there a town?
Yes.
In fucking Holland called Barneveld? So, and yes, there is. And same thing with Gerwen. There's a town or a province of Gerwen. So basically it just means of Gerwen. Yeah. So, that would be really confusing, because what if there were like 4 guys in the town of Gerwen named Michael? You can't all be Michael van Gerwen.
I actually heard another YouTuber talk about this, and they were talking about like the people that live in the same place that he lives now in the United States that have the same last name. They may not actually, even though they're listed as family, they may not actually be blood related family, because they all just got off the boat and they said the exact same thing. Hey, I'm Tony from, insert city here.
Tony von Kortrijk.
Yeah, and they're just like, oh, look at that.
All right, fine. Tony von Brussels. Okay, you're Von Brussels then. That's your name. Yeah, I don't know. That's just really weird. I don't wonder at what point they changed that, because, Gerwen had to have more than one Michael, and then they had 10 Michaels, then they got 20 Michaels, Van Gerwens. They're like, all right, fuck this. Somebody's got to come up with a different fucking last name, all right? There are too many goddamn Van Gerwens in the town of Gerwen. We can't all be Van Gerwens. So, all right.
You be more creative with the first names, at least, then.
Who?
You have to be more creative with the first names.
Maybe so, but Michael being a very common name even back then. So I don't know about Raymond.
Michael, Mikael.
By the way, I know people don't care about darts, but really exciting. Luke Littler, who is this 19-year-old.
Luke Littler?
The Luke Littler, 19 years old from England, is like beating people left and right. And unlike other sports, youth does not help in darts. Like, I mean, the dude who Phil Taylor was the champion into his 50s, from his 30s to for like 20 fucking years, this guy was the world champion. So a young guy just hasn't come along and done this for a while. So,
well, imagine age itself is not very relevant when talking about darts. I mean, you can be an 18-year-old and still kick ass at darts, and you can be 50-year-old still kick.
I wonder why it's so rare then. In darts, all the guys that are best are in their 20s or 30s, 40s even.
They played darts more.
Not teens. This kid's just a natural talent. I wonder why it hasn't happened so much. It happens obviously in soccer, but not very often there either as a teenager, a superstar like a Ronaldo or a Messi.
Well, I mean, in fairness, in darts, you don't have to worry about blowing your knee out with age.
Well, that's true. But there is some.
Imagine getting ready to throw a dart and you like pop your knee like no.
But you can't throw your arm out though, because you're not really throwing. You don't have much resistance. It's not like throwing like a basketball or a baseball.
Where do you throw those darts?
Darts are anywhere between 14 and 28 grams usually, and they're light.
I asked. I'm just talking about how hard are you throwing those darts? If you're blowing your arm out while throwing,
there are some guys that rip them, and there are other guys who float them. It's all about the style. Some guys float them, some guys rip them, even in the pros. All right, so that's all the bullshit I had. I was going to talk about Seth MacFarlane's moronicy, but we're really running out of time.
I didn't get to, I've only seen people talk about it. I haven't actually seen.
Oh yeah, apparently we're supposed to trust the media. Like, what world are you fucking living in now? I mean, have you not seen just like the media doesn't care about it?
He was making a pro censorship.
Yes, that was
kind of ironic.
Kind of ironic. You're like, what's happening to some of these guys?
He's like, I'm grandfathered and I can say whatever the fuck I want at this point.
I just think he's sucking the establishment's cock and balls. Because, I mean, listen, you got, 6 or 7 shows on TV right now and movies. You got the teddy bear things back out again, Ted. I mean, sure. Yeah, they're treating him well. So why not pretend that the media care about the objective truth? Because they obviously do not. Not in soccer, not in politics, not in any venue. They're about getting out the news first. Not about being right, but getting it out first. And then in some cases making the news, like rather than telling the news. Anyhow.
What's ironic about the whole thing is that he was one of the first people to out verbally, like at an awards show. What's the guy who got Me Too? The first Me Too.
Yeah. I can't remember the guy's name. Weinstein. Sorry, Epstein.
I kept wanting to say Al Weinstein, but I was like, whoa, wait a second.
Not Al. No, not our Al. By the way, Pete didn't know what the word neophyte meant today. That's really surprising, based on how smart he is, that he doesn't know the word neophyte.
Harvey Weinstein. There we go. Thanks, B. Mark.
Harvey. Yeah, everybody knew he was a slime ball. Nobody would say anything because of money and parts and influence and power. And even the media had when were tipped off on this years before they ever mentioned a word about it, because nobody wanted to lose their job. The guy had power across media spectrum. So again, not about telling the truth. It's not about the truth. It's about getting the story out first if it doesn't hurt your standing amongst the establishment. You put out a report that hurts your standing amongst the establishment, you're out. You're done. Your career's finished. You might as well start your own fucking what does everybody do? They go write their own news stories at this particular place. Anyhow, might as well be Glenn Greenwald. You move to Brazil and hide out and do stories. Well, he's got his own. I think he's got his own podcast now. Or he's show on YouTube. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Let's move on before I dig a hole. I don't want to even talk about politics at all today. Not at all. And on this show, never. We're not going to do it. There's too much of that already going on. If you want to do that, there's plenty of sites that cover that shit. But when a guy like Seth MacFarlane, who you grew up liking, and I'm not growing up, I was already an adult, and then he comes out and says some stupid shit, you're like, God damn, what happened to that guy? there's plenty of those guys around, by the way. I think Jon Stewart's getting a new show. I mean, I don't know how that's going to work, but I used to love that fucking show. So I don't know what this version of it's going to look like, The Daily Show. We'll see.
Yeah,
I don't have high hopes. I don't have high hopes, but I wish he'd get back to, common man issues, because the common working dude, used to be a priority for lots of those people, but not so much anymore. All right, let's get the fuck off this topic before I dig myself a hole I can't get out of. Brett, what do you got?
Yeah. We got the turn in the background.
Oh, sorry, turd. Welcome to this time. I'm blind. Welcome to the Street Red Card. Will Gio Reyna stay or go? Should I stay or should I go? Will Nottingham Forest have another yank? Or will Terzic hold on to the guy that saved his ass last year? My wife gave me a rim job. They also call that tossing the salad. Where
depending on the certain motion, you might also get a rusty trombone.
That's true. And those are pretty good. All right, let's move on. I know some dirty girls. All right, hug me, Derek. Callan Johnson. There you go.
Get up and sister and start the show. All right.
We're all looped. Usually we don't get to the show for the first 20 minutes, guys. This is normal here. We're only 17 in. All right, what else we got, Brett? Let's move on to actual soccer. I agree. Whatever schmut you have, let's save it for later.
Okay.
Well, unless it's soccer related.
No, I don't have any of this. I didn't expect to do 17 minutes of Orlando fluff there.
I didn't either, dude. I don't know. What did we do 17 minutes of?
A random. I don't know. We went from talking about gnawbone to rusty trombones. I don't know how we got.
Quite the transition. Well, that was the chat that did that. Somebody.
Yeah. Well, I don't necessarily want to jump into the Reyna topic just yet, or I don't want to do transfer news this early. So let's branch off into another soccer topic here. Let me just pull this up real quick.
Well, there's plenty of dumbasses to talk about this week.
Yeah, that's all part of the Reyna topic.
Okay,
we'll spend a good hour on that, I imagine.
Oh, I'm sure. Maybe. Some of it speaks for itself. Christian Pulisic and the U.S. men's national team set to take on Copa America competitors Colombia in pre-tournament international friendly in June. Okay. I like that. Colombia's
so we
good.
Got some tune-up matches before Copa. One of them is going to be against Colombia. And they've talked about doing a pair of matches in Europe, U.S. So they're going to pick somebody else out. You know, I know further in this topic here, they talk about other people that Colombia is going to be playing against, and they mentioned Canada is another one that they're going to do. So I guess the Canadian national team is going to be over there.
So this is going to be
Spain, Romania. Looks like.
Okay. Are we playing any European teams in Europe? Because, under Greg, we played almost 90% of our games here, the friendlies. So, I don't know why. I liked it when Klinsmann challenged us and took us to Europe. Of course, we can't do that anymore with all the Nations League shit. There really there's not a whole lot of openings for friendlies. So, okay. It's good.
Yeah, no, it'll be good to see. I wonder. I imagine Greg's probably going to have predominantly his A squad. I doubt he's going to take many chances in those pre-tune-ups.
Oh no! This
so
is
just who we expect to see come Copa. Yeah,
it's the big boy team.
So as it stands now, well, we got coming up here in March. We got the Nations League. And then we don't have anything scheduled until June for these friendlies, and then the Copa.
Yeah.
So that's a gap. A gap of non-USA games. I'm not a big fan of this.
I wonder if we'll squeeze something else in.
Is there another FIFA window in there somewhere? Like a May or something like that?
There might be. Like a 2-week window somewhere? I don't know.
We'll find out. There.
But I'm sure it'll still be difficult to find some good opponents for Copa. So at least we got Colombia lined up. That's definitely, one of the better teams that we could run into in the tournament itself. So,
yeah, but I mean, as long as it's not another CONCACAF window where we just play CONCACAF teams over and over again. Go pull some teams from Africa or Asia. Let's mix it up a bit.
well, we did just play. Who was it? Ghana.
Played Ghana.
Okay.
Played Oman and Uzbekistan.
Ghana's not so hot right now. Although, did you see that?
I think we're just that good, being the 5-0 and all.
Did you see in the AFCON, Equatorial Guinea played Guinea? It's like, what? I mean, I knew there was an Equatorial Guinea and a Guinea. What I did not know is that the Equatorial Guinea and Guinea would be good enough to face each other in later rounds. Or maybe that was group stage. Either way, that's kind of weird. They got grouped together in the same group. They're both have the same name, except one's an equatorial one and the one's non-equatorial. So Fumar says, don't we have a Brazil friendly too? Not that I'm aware of. Not yet.
Not that's been announced. I know.
I'd like that to be the case.
The only games they have on U.S. Soccer right now are the Nations League and Copa.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a great idea. Might as well play the best. Of course, some people will say, well, what if they destroy us? Then we'll go into the competition with very low morale. It's true. It's the chance you take. But if you don't play teams that are better than you, considerably better, you don't get better yourself. And then somebody says, well, what if we beat them? And then, then we got to beat them again in the tournament. You don't do that twice to Brazil. You just got to take your chances.
Yeah, let's save our one beat for later.
Save that victory up. Let's just lose badly. All right. What else you got, Brett? Hey, dude, if this ends up being a 30-minute show, that's what it is.
It'll never happen.
I know. So don't worry about it. Just keep pumping those topics out.
We're just going to jump right into your favorite topic of the day.
All right.
Transfer news. Everybody loves that
transfer news, but me.
Let me zoom in a little more on that.
Okay. Tom Bogert, man, Mr. Mustache, Tom Selleck Bogert is getting a lot of getting a lot of reps in these days. He was on the Best Soccer Show. I didn't watch it, but I heard that's where he was. Because it was on roughly the same time our show was on, I believe. I might be wrong about that, but I guess they had like 46 people watching. All right.
Smash them. Yes.
Tom Bogert says sources Philadelphia Union finalizing a deal to loan U.S. Youth International center back Brandon Craig to USL Championship side El Paso Locomotive. How old is Brandon Craig now?
Keep reading.
Oh, Craig, 19 to get 13 minutes. He has made one MLS appearance, started for the U.S. in the U20 World Cup. Yeah, listen, I mean, if you're almost 20 and you're not seeing a single minute, I guess you might as well go to El Paso and try to get some. I'm not saying it's over for Brandon Craig, but the U20 teams, I mean, he was one of the guys that looked solid, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. No, and his set pieces were phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, he's a solid player and he's got great. The corners were great too. Yeah, kind of shocking, but sometimes things just don't go well. And they're not going very well for him in MLS.
Yeah. My stance here is that he's a center back, and I mean, he's not going to be a world beater by any means. He could be a contributor to the United States national team over time.
And right now, he's just a potentially good MLS lifer. Potentially, he's not even an MLS lifer yet. And at 19, not saying center backs develop somewhat later, and it's hard to trust a 19-year-old center back. But Jalen Neal pulled it off at LA Galaxy. So,
yeah, how old is Austin Trusty?
I don't know, 25, 26, 24, somewhere around there.
So I mean, he didn't go to Europe. He didn't start playing for an EPL side until he was 25.
Right.
So he's got time.
He's got time, but Austin Trusty actually used to play in MLS.
Yeah,
right?
no, but okay, so he was at what? He was at Birmingham last year, and then prior to that, he was in MLS.
I'm talking about Craig.
So I'm talking about Trusty right now.
Birmingham.
Yeah, in the championship.
Yeah, the championship.
We're talking. That's why I emphasize we're talking about Trusty right now.
I'm like Alabama.
Craig. Some big feet.
Right, he was in the championship last year and proved himself.
Okay, at the age of 24/25.
Yes,
and then in MLS at that point for a couple of years. So I mean, he didn't even start in MLS until his early 20s.
Yeah, but he didn't really have to go on a USL loan to get some minutes. Right?
Yeah, but okay, when did Trusty actually start in MLS? I'm trying to pull this up now. Austin Trusty.
I'm sure he'll do fine in El Paso, but yeah, I mean, if you're riding Pine, you got to move.
I agree. This is good. It's a loan. He's going to get playing time. That's what he needs. Yeah. I agree with you on this.
But, will he be?
I will have you know that Austin Trusty did, in fact, play in USL for 2 years.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And he played 2 full years there. So, yeah, look at that. Okay. He's on the same trajectory. He's in about 5 years. So come to 2030.
I didn't say there was
he'll be starting an EPL.
I didn't say there was no hope, Brett. I just said
you were kind of alluding to that when you're like, you're not getting playing time in MLS at the age of 20. Then
it doesn't bode well. It doesn't. But funnier things have happened. He could become a solid MLS pro, and I guess turn into Austin Trusty and end up in fucking Sheffield United. But there's a long ways to go for him to get there. He's certainly got a stellar set piece foot. There's no doubt about that. That should benefit somebody.
Yeah.
Andy Cook for $2. No topic. All right, Andy. Thank you. I'll take
Andy's
that.
going to throw something in the chat. I'll pull it up next time.
That's like a mini reach around from Brett. All right. What else we got? Enough Brandon Craig. Well, wish him well. Wish him well. I'm more excited that Tom Bogert posted it. Tom Selleck Bogert. Brian Schroeder. Yes, that is how you pronounce his name. That's how he told us to pronounce his name. So if you want to get on here and say, no, man, that's a Schroeder. It's Italian. Well, we're just telling you how he told us to pronounce his name. Schroeder. Okay. Bild reporting that Eintracht Frankfurt want to loan Paxton Aronson anything to get him off our hands in the coming days. The report indicates clubs with Germany are interested, both Bundesliga and 2 Bundesliga. Seems likely to happen and that he stays in Germany. Well, yeah, but more than likely he will go to a 2 Bundesliga team. Let's be really, really, really honest. And no, he's not even in the photo. So what's going on, Brian? We've been talking about this for a few weeks now, that Paxton needs to leave, that he's gone from getting bit minutes to actually getting a start and getting yanked at halftime to not even dressing anymore. Not dressing. He doesn't dress. He didn't dress this weekend. Well, he had clothes on, but he was not.
You didn't know about that.
He was not dressed to play. Let's just put it that way. He didn't.
Could that have been a sign, though?
He didn't make the 18.
He didn't make the 18 because they're getting ready to loan his ass out.
That's been going on for a few games now.
So you're saying he's been running around naked around Frankfurt?
That's exactly right. Yep. And people are calling him a dickless wonder and all kinds of nasty.
Come on, man.
Nasty things.
Underpants on.
But really, all right, I'm not going to say that. Are we expecting Paxton Aronson to go there and just bust a nut immediately? I don't think so. I didn't. I was hoping that he would do well. I was hoping he'd do something, but he hasn't done anything. He's just a lot like his older brother. He runs around a lot, but he's on the pitch, but he really doesn't contribute anything. Sorry. Andy Cook, would Trusty start next year if they stayed up? I think so. I think he's turned out he'd start because when they don't play him at center back, they're playing him at left back too. So he's a handy guy to have around. But we'll see. We'll see. I think Sheffield United are definitely going down, and I think he's going down with them. Yeah.
Nope, that's it. And he'll be back in the EFL at that point. I mean, he had a solid year with Birmingham. So I mean, that seems to be more. I mean, that earlier on this season, we're like, well, that would be more his speed, anyways. But then he's shown up for the past couple months here.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's not the one doing all the fuck ups. I mean, he's fucked up on occasion, but he's not the reason that they're getting they're getting ass stomped. Yeah. All right, what else we got? File that one under not surprising, by the way.
About time, more like it, actually.
Otaku, yeah. Chelsea have opened the book and are looking at Anthony Robinson. Don't do it. Jedi, don't do it. Intently. They're looking at him intently. How does Otaku come up with this horse piss constantly? Where does he draw this ridiculous shit from? Jedi is a player that is believed Fulham are going to struggle to keep hold of at the end of the season because there are a lot of clubs looking at him. Intently? Are they looking at him intently? That's my question, Brett.
That was such a weird sentence.
God damn
Jedi
it,
is a player that it's believed Fulham are going to struggle. And that's all, I heard that part right there, and you pause for a second. I'm like, wow, that's rough Jedi to say about his current team. Jedi said that Fulham kind of sucks right now, so I got to get the fuck out of here.
But they don't suck. And I know I called them mid-table the other day, and somebody's like, well, they're not in the mid-table, Derek. They're below it. Well, yeah, I guess they're in 12th or wherever the fuck they are. Doesn't matter.
They're 12th, and I think Chelsea's like 10th or something. They're like 10th and 9th or whatever, 10th and 8th or whatever it is.
Do you want to go to Chelsea and join that clown show, though, Brett? That clown show? Really? I know.
I would.
Well, yes, you. But if you were,
I go from being unattached to playing for Chelsea, or at least on Chelsea's team. I'd do it.
Not you,
coach.
Not you, bozo. I meant if you were Jedi.
Yeah,
that whole knob thing's going to your brain.
Jedi could be looking at me again. What's Jedi's age at this point? He's what, 26, 27, right?
Yes, somewhere around there. Yeah,
he might be looking at this next contract being one of his bigger options for a payday. Going to Chelsea could be. I don't blame you, and I agree with you.
I fucking hate Chelsea. Fulham's my favorite team, and he's going to go from my favorite team to one of my most despised teams. First of all, I don't like that. I hate Chelsea. All they do is go out and buy everybody else's players. Then they buy the wrong ones because they're fucking morons that don't know how to scout players. Then they can't fucking find a coach either, even though the one they had used to be pretty good. I don't know what's going on with Pochettino these days, but what the fuck, man? That club. Okay. Are they on a roll right now? Yes, they are getting better. Somebody said, Dirk, you're too hateful on Chelsea. Dude, it's just a natural thing. Don't take it personally. If Chelsea's your team, go root for them. I just hate all the big clubs. I hate them all.
This probably goes with a little bit of your hatred.
Yes, exactly. Fulham and Chelsea are the same part of London. Yes, and then the posh people go watch Chelsea, but the working families go to Fulham games. All right. Anyhow, that doesn't sum up my hatred really. It's just a long-standing disgust with Real Madrid, Barcelona, and all the people that got on board with the big when the sport got big. Everybody's favorite team was Man United or Chelsea.
Yep.
Not even Liverpool, surprisingly enough. Somehow they didn't get on the bandwagon of Liverpool, but and Real Madrid.
There's definitely a growing population of Liverpool fans. I feel I've been seeing it more and more here in India, at least.
That's good. They're one of the ones I don't hate as much for some reason, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's a working class town. But and then you have, if I see another 12-year-old kid wearing a fucking Messi Barcelona shirt, I'm just gonna slap him. I'm sick of Barcelona and Messi. He didn't even play there anymore. He plays at Inter Miami, and didn't they just play Al Hilal or something?
They got beat 3-1.
No, 3-2. I think there was a late goal. I think.
Oh, I thought I saw a scoreline on Twitter. It was 3-1, but maybe that was premature.
It was premature people laughing at MLS. That's what that was. They're like,
because Chelsea looks at everyone, which is what we say all the time, right? When they're keeping tabs on them. They're keeping tabs.
Otaku is one of the most egregious motherfuckers when it comes to this shit. He's always there eyeballing intently. There are other guys that do it too, but he's one of them for sure.
Well, and I think the thing is, I don't know. This is the one thing I've said of frustrated with accounts like this person's is that they kind of give him the props as far as who said it, but you can't go back. You can dive into their feed and try to find it, but you can't find it anywhere. And it could have been something that was said in a podcast or whatever. Maybe this is more or less a quote, almost verbatim quote. Like they said in Tinley.
Right, like it's like
he could just be quoting them.
Yes, Sammy Macbell said it, but where did he say it? How did he say it? Did he say it like you're saying it?
Yeah, that's why I want a freaking quote tweet. Where's this quote tweet at? That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I don't believe it either. BMR, fuck this report. Next.
Next.
I don't want to talk about it anymore. Oh, Tom Selleck Boger is back with another report. Enter Miami CM and highly rated U.S. Youth International, Benjamin Kramashi, has undergone surgery to repair a sports hernia and a left testicle. He's expected out for 2 to 3 months. Wow, that's a big time testicular injury. The 18-year-old made 41 appearances across all comps and blah, 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 blah. Will play big role again when fit. Okay, sure he will. I'm sure he will. I didn't know he had a sports hernia.
I just want to know what's up with all the U.S. players that are getting sports hernias these days.
Oh, I know.
I don't remember this being a thing.
Jalen Neal's got it.
A decade or two ago.
Kramashi's got it. Adam's got one.
Yeah. It's you get a broken foot or, whatever you got, elbowed in the face and you're bleeding or whatever. But man, I feel like everybody's going under the knife for sports hernias.
I know. Sports hernias are all over. And it was not something that came up when our playing days.
We just played through it, right?
We didn't even know we had one, probably.
It's a little hurt.
Yeah.
Coach was over there, quit being a pussy, rub some dirt on it.
Yeah, but coach, my nutsack's like the sack of a pineapple. Keep playing. I don't want to hear about your nutsack. All right.
Gen Z or Gen hernia?
Gen hernia. Okay, what I just said is wrong. Sports hernia is the same as a real hernia. Real hernia is when your intestinal tract drops into your nutsack, which is what happened to me 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever it was. And I almost died, actually, because major portion of my intestinal tract fell into my nutsack, and my nutsack was the size of a fucking bowling ball. Horrific. But
we used to call it a pulled groin or groin pull.
A groin pull, yeah. So sports hernia is different.
Stretch it out.
The worst thing is you just never really know when it's healed, because how many times did Adams come back and say, I'm fine? Then they went out for training. Oh, he's out for another 3 months after one fucking training. And so it's a bitch of an injury. Hard to heal.
Yeah.
He used to call it a groin pull. I guess we did, didn't we?
Yeah.
But those just went away. I don't know. I never really pulled my groin, actually. But other players did. Brett Yadoguti news that GGG has been in contact with him. Yeah. Brian Gutierrez. Oh,
I'm assuming he meant to say, did you hear about the Guti news? Yeah. So Guti was interviewed by 90minutes.com.
90 minutes, not 60, huh?
No, not 60.
Brian Gutierrez on choosing U.S. or Mexican national team. I've had talks with Greg where he talks about himself and his philosophy and his system. Being my system. And then he talked to me about being part of the first team and the Olympics that are coming up in the summer. While Mexico have yet to reach out, he is open to both. Well, I'm sure he's open to both. Why not? Why shut the door?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't shut the door.
Fuck Mexico. And then Greg's like, yeah, we really don't play with the attacking midfield like you. So,
and Reyna's probably going to hold down that spot for the next 7-8 years. So you're probably going to get much playing time. Whereas the Mexican team is at an all-time low. You might have a better shot there, Brian. And honestly, if he goes, he goes. I mean, I'm not going to complain. Center attacking midfielders. Right now, we have a couple that are Tillman. We have Tillman, and we've got Reyna.
He's not just an attacking midfielder, though. He has played wide quite a bit for his career so far.
Oh, I'm sure he has.
He can
we're
play
in the United States, right? We're in America. We play all attacking players out wide, except if they're over 6 foot. Then they get to play center forward.
Well, I mean, in a standard Greg 4-3-3, there's really no attacking role. So, of course, throughout the U20s, U23s, he's only ever really played out wide.
Most of the moron coaches in the United States play a 4-3-3, so that's why.
With the Chicago, he's played kind of a dual attacking with Shaq, but then sometimes he's also played out wide for Chicago too. So It doesn't matter. He plays a very he plays just like Reyna does out wide. Quite frankly, we'll keep that comparison there because there's a lot of comparisons to their game. I mean, I would take Gio any day of the week in this situation.
Right,
and I'm a big fan of Brian's, but
me too.
But I mean, there's a lot of similarities with their style as far as how calm they are with the ball, how they move in the field. You know, what's the word that you use to describe Reyna?
Languid. Yeah,
but
looks
just like Gio when he has to make a 30-40 yard sprint, man, he's surprisingly quick.
Yeah, I mean, he appears to be languid, but they aren't. Yeah. I mean, you can't. Yeah, my point was that they're not actually languid. They just look at ease. Like everything's so easy and smooth. It looks like they're slow because
you don't have to take crack cocaine or speed before a game.
No, I mean nobody. We don't need any more Aaronsons. Honestly, let's just be really clear. We need more Reynas. And Gutierrez is a good quality player. I was disappointed he re-signed with MLS, but that's his decision, and I'm going to have to live with it. Larry, be honest. Are the Fire watchable? They're not to me. Not to me.
Every week, Larry. Every week.
It's a clown show in the administration office there in Chicago.
Oh, fuck yes. I don't think you're going to find many that will disagree with you on that front.
Yeah. And sometimes that seeps into the team, and the team becomes a clown show to reflect the clown show in the offices.
Fuck. I mean, here we are. We're sitting. Preseason's underway. We have not had a big signing this year yet at all. Our biggest signing is this kid.
Who wants
to re-sign him for 2 years?
Who wants to move there? Who wants to play there with a bunch of clowns running it?
It's all about the money. People ending their career or starting as a launching pad, and Chicago will sell people.
Yeah, well,
so that's not a huge concern. If I was like a young South American player that's really good and talented, wants to get a springboarded up into maybe get a payday and then springboard into Europe. I mean, Chicago wouldn't be a bad team to go to by any means.
If I am from Brazil or Argentina and I'm a young player looking to go to MLS and I'm being recruited by, let's say, 5 or 6 teams in MLS, one of the ones I'm staying away from is Chicago. Period. Staying away from them because they're poison. They're run by a bunch of Nimrod fucking Ivy League, self-flatulating, self-fucking themselves kind of motherfuckers. So, yeah, I'd stay away from Chicago.
All
right.
I mean, outside of the resetting, Chicago fellow has it right. This has been our fucking window so far. Tom Barlow and Gutman.
Gutman is not a bad pickup, although nobody wants to keep hold of that guy. You got to ask yourself what's wrong with Gutman because wherever he goes, he's gone the next season.
I don't know.
So maybe he's just not likable. Maybe he's an arrogant prick. I don't know what it is. Maybe he stinks. Maybe he doesn't wash his nutsack. I don't know what the reason is, but he never stays anywhere for like longer than a year. What's going on with Gutman? And then the other pickup's not bad. Chicago fellow. Look at John.
The other pickup is Tom Barlow. What you said that wasn't bad?
It's not that bad. Tom Barlow's had some moments at New York Red Bulls. I know those are days gone by.
Yeah, but I mean, he had 3 goals last season. That's the striker that we need right now.
Well, what do you got right now? I mean, you can't.
I'm gonna go into the season as optimistic as I always am. Maybe Tom will surprise.
Well, that's a fool's way of approaching things. I'm going to just put my blinders in and dive in again. And then you're diving into a pool that doesn't have with sitting water that's been there for like 3 years and it's untreated. And then you come out with herpes on the other side. You got to be careful what you're diving into every season, Brett. You got to be equipped, put on the scuba gear and the wetsuit and all that when you're diving into these waters because you're diving into dirty waters in Chicago. Dirty waters, baby. All right. Chicago fellow says, look at John Duran. Went to the Fire at a young age and is now in the Premier League. Yeah, it can happen. Not saying it can't, but
that's to Europe. I'm a South American. I would just avoid Chicago, period.
I'm I'm just pissing on Chicago because they're run by nitwits. That's it.
And
That's it.
Again,
For some reason I hate them.
don't disagree.
Yeah. What else we got? It's enough on Guti. What's that? Like 10 minutes on Gutierrez? Seriously.
Derek, we have to find the minutes somewhere, man. You didn't come with any major topics outside the major ones, so
you didn't come up with any major topics.
Come on, Derek.
Ones,
the main topic is the Reyna topic that was going to come anyways.
Dude, that's going to go on.
I can only come up with so much things, so we had to talk about what we got to talk about.
I got the Yanks Abroad report. That's going to take a while. Lots of shit happened this weekend. I can move on to that if you want.
We're gonna do Yanks Abroad. Let's see. Do I want to do anything? Yeah, let's jump into the Yanks Abroad right now.
Yanks Abroad. Yanks Abroad. All right, here we go.
I was about to pull up a fluff if you kept doing that, man. I'm just saying.
That's the new Yanks Abroad song. Starts with Jeopardy, ends with Yanks Abroad. All right.
We definitely won't get claimed for that one.
We're not going to get knocked for that for sure. All right. Paxton Aronson, as I mentioned earlier, did not dress. Matt Turner went 90 in a tie. No mistakes, but still a little sketchy out of the back with his feet. A little nervous looking. They keep passing it to him, though.
Yeah, he'll eventually get better, right?
I think this is as good as it's going to get him.
This new guy, yeah. Listening to the tech show on that, and wasn't you got the clean sheet and all, but
yeah,
didn't he not make a single save?
I don't think so. I know there was no shots on goal in the first half. Can't remember the second half. Was I making breakfast? I don't remember. But yeah, I watched most of the game. He didn't really have to do much except for when they passed it back to him. And every time he did, I was like, oh, shit. Yeah. Nottingham has already announced they want to replace Turner. I don't know if they announced that in public, though, Fumar.
Well, I think they announced that they're looking for another goalkeeper. Or they're actively scouting a different goalkeeper.
They better hurry the fuck up. The clock is ticking. Thursday's coming.
I'm sorry, but not saying that the goalkeepers they have are top notch by any means, but that's not their big problem.
No, it isn't their big problem. They got other problems.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't spend my money there if they have limited amounts to spend because of the fair play. You don't go out and spend it on a keeper. You spend it on the outfield, which is where your problems are, and your defense. Yeah.
We got to offload some of these players to get that fair play rule bullshit. But let's go out and get a third goalkeeper in 6 months.
Yeah, that's not necessary. Listen, they're a little spoiled. They're a little spoiled. They had one of the best goalkeepers in the world last season on their team.
Yeah.
All right, on loan, and so they're spoiled. This is what an average, EPL goalkeeper looks like. I think Matt Turner is still a great shot stopper. I mean, he used to be. I don't know what the problem. He didn't have to stop any this weekend, but he used to be really good.
If you don't have to stop him, then of course you're not going to stop him.
I think his confidence is just a little shaken. Haji Wright came back from injury. He went 17. Obviously, they're not going to throw him out there to start. He's been injured for a couple weeks now. Fossey went 90, got a goal. It was just a tapper-inner at right back.
Goal is the goal.
He was fine. He was fine. He's had better games. Nate Brown went 90 at left back for Nuremberg in a loss. Christopher Lund, 87 in a tie for Palermo. Palermo, right? Am I losing my mind? Okay.
Yeah, that's Palermo.
Jesus, I just had a brain fart.
I'm wondering if it's Palermo.
It's got to be Palermo. I can't pull that out of my asshole. And it's not Perugia, so I know it's a P word. But
I started wondering if it was Parma at first, but no, it's Palermo.
It's Palermo because Parma went up. Justin Shea got a rare start and went 86 minutes, got an assist and the win down in the second division, unfortunately, the Pub Bar League at Adeo. So it is a step up because this is his first start that I can remember all season. And not only did he not start. He contributed.
No, I think he started another game, but he got subbed out at halftime.
He played winger too, by the way.
Winger?
No,
Really?
no, he didn't. No, sorry, that was somebody else.
No, I was gonna say he's played
Center back, left
role
back, right back.
He's played the 6 role at FC Dallas, I thought, at least a couple times.
Yeah, but since he's gone to Europe, he's mostly played right back, and an occasional center back for the junior Bayern team.
Before he bounced off.
Wow, Justin Che is well on his way to represent Germany. Yeah, yep, exactly. That's sometimes you keep your mouth shut and you do the work and let the work speak for you. Don't need to open your trap and then you'll end up in a pub league in Holland or Belgium. Ricky Van Hees went 90 for Utrecht's 2 team in a tie. Conrad. Remember that guy? Conrad They got a whole goddamn 9 minutes in the 2nd division for Eibar in Spain because he is so good.
He's gonna ball when he plays for Haiti, I guess. So
he's so good in his own mind. All right. And then we move to Saturday. Dwayne Holmes got extra time minutes at all. And that's it for Preston North End. Went from being a starter and a key part to the team to being a bench guy this season, Dwayne Holmes. Yeah. Gooch went 85 for Stoke in another loss. Boy, Stoke are stinking it up. Flo was they stinking it up.
It was like it just sounded like almost like Stoke was like past tense of stinking, apparently.
No, it's alliteration.
Yeah.
Alliteration. Look that up, guys. It's a literary term. Most of you will know it, but those of you who aren't English majors may not. I mean, after all, Pete didn't know what a neophyte was, so I'm not.
I mean, it's fair to assume that some of the words that we learned in our English classes to describe other words might not be on the top of our to know list.
No, but I was an English teacher, so I guess
what's an onomatopoeia, alliteration, whatever. It's all the same thing, right?
Yeah. What's a soliloquy? All right. Paredes went 90 in a goal. By the way, Paredes played really well. And out wide, he got the goal, which was a tapper. No, I won't call it a tapper. This is more than a tapper. It was a good goal. Right place, right time. But I think the more important thing is on his side, he dominated the guy he was playing against. So I can't remember the guy's name, but Wolfsburg, they desperately needed some points at this point. Things have been a little rocky lately.
We're there right now.
I don't know, but it was only a tie, but it's a point, right? You take it. Brooks went
They're in 11th place.
Yeah,
they're well above relegation.
They're going through a bumpy patch, though.
That's fine.
Brooks went. All right. Brooks went 90 in a tie versus Maloney, who also went 90 in this tie. Brooks got semi-burned on. He stepped up. This is kind of similar to the Honduras game, right? He stepped up, and they got passed behind him, and he got burned behind him.
Yeah, the big difference there is that the team in Honduras was an experimental team of a bunch of players who barely played for Berhalter. And this is obviously Hoffenheim's A team.
I would say the bigger difference is that it wasn't all Brooks's fault in Honduras. I didn't think him stepping up there was the wrong move. I just think it turned out wrong. In this case, he stepped up and didn't notice that the other two backs, defensive backs, were ahead of him, were behind him, and him stepping up was not going to draw the offsides. He tried to play an offsides trap. That's what I thought he was trying to play an offsides trap.
I think he was committing. So I was watching. This is one of the games I watched this weekend.
Committing to what? It was just like, what was he committing to?
Let me talk, Derek.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to make a point, and you cut me off. You cut me off over and over again. Okay, so one of the games I watched this weekend, because at that time it was the only game that had Americans on it. It happened to be 2 Americans. Let's talk about this game.
Yeah.
So in that play, the Johnny Cardoso lookalike, and I cannot think of his name, the guy who scored the goal.
Turkish kid.
Too. Yeah, he's not going to be at Heidenheim much longer. He can't be. Every time I watch Heidenheim, he's the only one that really stands out as far as like, whoa, what is he doing there?
Yeah.
So he had the ball. Brooks had his man, he was marking one of the forwards, who was making a cut to the right wing, to the right sideline.
Okay.
Brooks was torn between either staying with his man or committing to the Johnny Cardoso lookalike.
Mm-hmm.
And he ends up committing to the Johnny Cardoso lookalike,
Mm-hmm.
who made a pass into center. They got the 1-2 pass back. Problem was that he did not attempt to recover until it was too late.
Well,
Now,
no, I don't.
whether or not he was pushing for an offside, maybe he was hoping that he was going to play it to his other man who he abandoned to go press.
I
don't
mean,
know.
he was between a rock and a hard place.
He got spun around. It doesn't matter. The blame predominantly falls on him in this run, anyways. But not much more he could have done.
Yeah,
My
I
opinion.
love the way when he was chasing the guy down, and if you watch the replay on this, you can see him scream. He's trying to like freak the guy out who has the one-on-one with the keeper. He goes, "Wah!" He's like yelling at him behind him. Didn't work. Maloney had his usual hardworking day.
I had posted about Maloney. I'm like, you know what? Hey, not is Maloney doing Maloney things.
Yeah.
And somebody's like, I don't recall seeing Maloney at all in that first half around the ball. Like, he plays a specific role that if you hear his name mentioned a lot, Heidenheim are in a lot of trouble because that means he's doing a lot of defending.
Yeah.
What does he do? He breaks down the passing lanes. He forces the ball outward, and he basically clogs it up. He does what Adams does, but less, I guess, bone crunching into things. I guess I don't know how to word that really properly. He can be, but I mean, I didn't even see him for like the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Is that him?
I was looking for him, and he's very easy to pick out because he has a certain running style that is so different from everybody else's. So, but I would watch him, and he's always like right around, if the other team have the ball, where the ball is. Like he's somewhere there playing right there, closing down the passing lane. And then on offense, he's literally 5 yards in front of the center backs. That's it. He doesn't go hardly any more forward than that.
He's a third center back. That's what he does.
That's
literally
like.
what he is. No, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a center back by nature, and Heidenheim has placed him at the 6. Which, if you're playing the 6 where he's sitting back and he's basically playing a stopper, as we at least here used to dub it.
Mm-hmm.
He's not gonna. He's more or less a center back at that point. He's just an extra center back in the defense. They play 5 in the back. In the offense, they play 3 in the back.
Simple as that. Yep. Then we got PFOC went 80 with Scally in a tie. Scally playing 90 at right center back again. Mm-hmm. And I wonder when they're going to settle on, like, okay, are we going to play 3 in the back or are we going to play 4 in the back? Because they've gone back and forth a few times now this season. We'll see what happens there. PFOC had some good moments, some good hold-up moments, but for the most part, didn't get to touch the ball that much.
I wonder if there's a correlation between who they're playing and they're playing the 3 back. Like if they're playing a team that's arguably better than them.
Like they did this weekend, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if they go back to the 3 back at that point because, again, in the defense, it's going to be 5 in the offense.
Oh, yeah, and it looked like 5 almost all game long.
Yeah.
It never looked like just 3, so because they were playing defense the whole game. And they got the tie, so there you go. McKinney went 90, Weah went 30. Again,
an interesting match. This one. This is the other match I watched on Saturday. So obviously, you have Malik's stupid red card. Stupid red card. Did you watch the match?
I don't remember the red card.
Yeah, it was like 13 minutes in.
Oh.
They played a man down almost the entire fucking game.
Who got the red card?
Malik. Not Malik, Malik.
Okay. It's like Malik Tillman doesn't play there.
I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. I put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable, okay?
Yeah, you did. I missed the whole red card. Maybe I started watching late.
So it was a horrible first touch, and then he did a sliding tackle. Like he lunged at the guy and into the ankle. Stupid play.
Yeah, well, he won't be around for a couple games, so they'll get somebody else to get a chance. Take his spot.
Sorry, I'm reading some of the chat here, but yeah. So then you also had Weston's injury scare. So did you catch that?
No.
Did you not watch the first?
Maybe I
15 minutes
missed
of the game.
I missed the whole fucking game. I had it on, but
yeah. So he so McKinney's injury scare. What he made it. He like drug his foot, and it kind of bent backwards. And I instinctively grabbed my knee. You know, that every time I see like an injury, I'm like, that hurts. I immediately grab my knee because that's just what instincts go to.
Empathy.
And it took him a good solid 10 to 15 minutes really to start moving ish. That first half, like he wasn't. I was saying that I don't think that I think after they come back from halftime, I think he's going to get subbed out because he was so ginger on that foot.
Yeah, that's surprising.
But then he comes out in the second half and he's running around like nothing's the matter.
Yeah.
So
they probably asked him at halftime, "Hey man, are you all right?" And he's like, "Yeah, fuck it, I'm all right. I rubbed some spaghetti on it. It's all good."
Some pasta.
Now I saw the post.
It was almost like 9 day to an extent though, because even when he was running at the end of the first half, you could still see him like when he goes to make a cut, he was kind of like hop, skipping, and jumping over. But in the second half, he was running off it, and I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, did they give him one of the cortisone shot or whatever?
Yeah, that's not good.
That's one I'm wondering because he came out his typical Weston self at that point.
No, but I mean, if you are injured,
I don't think that's the case.
If you are injured, you take a cortisone shot and you play on the injury and you make it worse.
That's my concern. As BMR does mention, though, Weston does have superhuman healing powers, so it is possible that he just had 20 minutes of elevating it, and all of a sudden it's fine.
Well, we've all like twisted an ankle before, and you know, it sucks for like at least 20 minutes, you know?
So we definitely got it taped. Absolutely. I guarantee. And that may have made the difference right there. A little more secure on the move.
Yeah.
Farrell Among Us says rubbed ranch dressing on it at halftime.
Good to go, coach. Did you see the piece where McKinney talks to a fan about making spaghetti sauce and that how the Italians do it all wrong? Like that's something you do not say that
about it. I don't know any of the background behind it, but I saw
it's a real video. He's like, you guys are doing it all wrong. You don't use tomatoes. You use tomato sauce. Well, tomato sauce comes from tomatoes. Anyhow, he's no chef. I would not be. Italians are crazy about their food. You do not fuck with their food. So don't say shit like that anymore, Weston.
Well, he's already mentioned how he likes ranch on his pizza, and I'm sure they're going like, what the fuck is that?
Well, our pizza isn't even, that's not even real pizza in Italy. They don't consider the way we eat pizza, you know, that's not pizza.
No, I know. It's completely different.
Yeah, it's not pizza to them. All right, we better move on. This is taking a long time.
Talking about though, I do want to come back to two plays on with Weston and with Weah.
Okay,
both having an amazing defensive save. I don't
think I watched this match. I think this is one of them I missed.
Weston came back in the first half and had to make a lunging stop recovery. And then in the second half, go and watch the highlight on this. But Weah was out on the right, and Empoli had this nice, 1-2 play through the middle. Actually, it wasn't even 1-2. It was just wide open in the center.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy had a nice 20-yard gap between him and Weah. And Weah caught up and did a sliding into the box and tackled the ball nicely to stop the open shot. It was a phenomenal play.
I watched 13 matches this weekend, and I didn't watch that one somehow.
Yeah.
Right.
You're like, I understand if you're watching like 13 matches, it might get lost in there.
Yeah, no, and that's the problem. Sometimes you watch too many games, and they all blend into one blob. Pulisic and Musa. Pulisic 87, Musa 30 in a tie. It's Pulisic with a hockey assist, but
a lot of people are bagging on TAC for constantly using the hockey assist terminology.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, I don't know, but yeah, I'm looking at AC Milan more recently, and I'm kind of worried. They're just not playing. They're not. I don't know. There's some spark missing there. I don't know what it is. It was there earlier in the season. It was exciting, and now it looks a little methodic, and I don't know. Let's
I
see.
mean, they're AC Milan. I mean, they're still perfectly fine. They've won 4 of their last 5 matches. They drew this last one, so I mean that's their last 5. They're 10 points over Atalanta at this, and they're more or less secured a Champions League spot.
Yeah.
Unless they really fuck it up, that's possible, I guess.
Yeah. No more ties though. More wins. Cardoso. There's a match I watched, and he was fucking great. He went 90. No, I did watch that one. Out of curiosity, just to see how he would do. And he, again, like the other game, he did not look like, I mean, it looks like he's been playing there all fucking season. And it looks like he's going to be a starter from here on going out. So Cat called that one. 90 minutes and a win. Trusty, 90 minutes and a loss. There's not a shocker. Ream and Jedi, both 90 in losses. Ream's return. It was a cup game, so I get it. Let him come back, get some minutes under his belt, Ream, that is. And he did. And they lost. I mean, I don't know. I'm not worried about the cup game so much for Fulham. I didn't think they were going to put their best guys out there anyhow. Johnny got lucky not to be sent off. Well, I guess so. I don't remember that moment.
I didn't watch the match, but Tack mentioned that he went back and rewatched that play, and Johnny actually got knocked into the player, I guess, or something like that.
Pushed into him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm just saying whatever Tack said because I did not watch that match.
Well, Tack's going to defend Johnny anyhow.
Yeah.
They're buddies. Reynolds, 90 minutes in a tie, and Griffin Yao, also 90 minutes. Griffin Yao is now a starter. Who would have thunk that at the beginning of the season for Westerlo? I mean, he was on the youth team before that. Pepe, 7, Guest, 90, and an assist. And what an assist it was, although no one covered him. So, I mean, that was easy. Tillman is injured. I found out he was injured right before the game. I'm like, fuck. I tune in to watch Tillman, man. He's what's fun to watch about this crew because I know that Pepe's only going to get 10 minutes. And so what am I there then to watch? Dest. Yeah. And I know what Dest can do.
Not even 10 minutes.
Yep. Booth, 66 in a tie for Utrecht. Fossey, we already discussed earlier, but I didn't want to bring up the other American manager in German soccer outside of Matarazzo, and that's Fabian Hertzler. He has St. Pauli firmly in first for auto promotion. Since he took over this team last season, he is the highest winning percentage of any German manager in any of the Bundesligas, 1, 2, or 3. And I don't know. There's a guy to start keeping an eye on. This is a young manager too. I mean, he's in his 20s, I think, early 30s. Anyhow, impressive. And St. Pauli have been apparently in the German press. They're like,
who knows in second in Bundesliga too?
Who's second in the Bundesliga right now? And Greuther? First?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they've been playing pretty damn well too. Max Dietz and Julian Green. Looks like they're headed. Those are the 2 automatic promotion spots. The third place team in Bundesliga 2 has to play, the last place team. The third to last place in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
I tried
third and fourth in Bundesliga 2 are only separated by 1 point. So I mean, it's a tight race for that second, third spot.
I tried to explain this promotion relegation in Germany to my dad once, and he's just like, I still don't understand what you're saying. He's like, it's not like England where the bottom 3 automatically drop and the top 3 from the second division automatically promote. I said they have a playoff system between the third to last team in the you see, I can't even explain it now. Anyhow, it was hilarious.
I remember because Bremen with Sargent survived a year because of that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it got relegated the following year.
Yeah. Hey, Giacchini was already on the bench in the 18 for Como. He didn't play, but he's already on the bench. And rest. Had clothes on. And that was a loss. Busio went 90, got a goal and a win.
Well, allegedly.
Yeah, in what seemed to be either a dust bowl or a fog bowl. And Tessman got 90 as well. They are in third. So they need to go up a little higher because they want to auto promote, right? Don't want to play in those fucking playoffs. So they need to keep winning.
I can only assume that ground level visibility was fine, but every camera angle I ever saw of that game, I don't know what I'm looking. I'm looking at fog. I can't see shit.
It's like playing in mud. I mean, with mud on your eyeballs.
BMR says they were playing in the Bermuda Triangle.
At first, when I first saw the replay, I was like, did they have one of those little smoke bombs go off? And then no, because it never dissipated. Bucio for Jose Lopez, $5. Yes.
Jose's happy to let us know that he's never been off the hype train of Bucio.
All right. Well, listen, this is promising. After a sort of roller coaster season for the most part, he's come on strong here lately. So let's see if he can continue that. And if he does go up with Tessman, more than likely, they're staying. If not, Tessman's definitely going. I don't know about Bucio. By the way, go ahead.
Jose Lopez for $2 says goal so good. Couldn't even see it. Bucio the GOAT. Fumar wants to know if Venezia has any games in hand. No. They currently have all played 22 games, and Venezia is currently sitting in third place, but they are tied with second. So
they start off the season really hot. Then they had this little bumpy patch where they lost some games, tied some games they should have won. And so they need as many wins as possible going for their third now. God, when I looked, they were in second.
Oh, they're tied. They're tied for third.
Not on goal difference.
No.
Are they tied on goal difference? No.
Okay. Off by 3.
Okay. Yeah, you want to auto promote. You don't want to play in that goddamn ridiculous playoff system they have in Serie B. It's a pain in the ass and it's lengthy. They lose to all the shit teams. They do. And like the team they just played, they should have crushed because they're 17th or 16th place team. And, they barely squeak out that win. Novakovic, 90 minutes and a loss for Lecce. Last 20. Oh, talk about the worst team in Serie B. They are dead last. Lecce. Novakovic always ends up on one of the worst teams. Kate Cowell, 46 minutes in a tie. Didn't watch that one. Sunday, Cannon, 13 minutes, and then he was taken off injured for QPR. Not good for Reggie because he won the starting role, and now he's injured. Sabi, people are going crazy about Sabi, but guys, there was a penalty kick. Let's not go too nuts. It's a penalty kick goal, and outside of that, he didn't really play that well. And they yanked him in the 56th. So, I mean, Sabi nut stories go here. Brendan,
we are hurting as far as wing depth is concerned. So
not if you add
Sargent and Haji. Yeah,
Sargent and Haji as wingers, then we're not hurting. So no need to bring Sabi quite yet. He's singing Sabi songs. Brendan Aronson, 7 minutes. A whole fucking 7 minutes. That's all I watched too of that Union Berlin game. The last 7 minutes.
Why would you watch any more of it?
I just was hoping he would score or get an assist and get off the schneid.
Oh, no. I'm just saying, why would you be watching any more of it outside of those 7 minutes?
I tell you what, though. Union Berlin looked like a better team lately than they were at the beginning of the season. So
sure. Okay. Well, they went on like a 13-game winless streak. So, yeah, I mean, anything's going to be better than that outside of more losses.
And I can't even remember who this win was against. Probably one of the worst teams in the league, I believe. Darmstadt, was it maybe? I don't know.
I think yes. I think that is who they played.
Reyna, 24. We'll get to him later. A great 24 in my personal humble opinion, but not the foot mob or whatever the fuck they want to call themselves.
Fuck mob.
The fuck up mob. Luca De La Torre in a mostly anonymous 66 minutes and lost for Celta. My boy, Kaveh Zahir Al-Aslam. At St. Truden, went back from injury, scored the last game, back from injury, goes another full 90 for St. Truden. Kid to keep a lookout, a tall, lanky kid who is also eligible for India But why would he do that? I don't know. Because he can play there? I'm sure they're going to come calling for him soon. He's eligible for India as well. 6'2", I think. Big kid. McKenzie, 90 minutes in a tie. That was against St. Truden. So it was Genk versus St. Truden. And you didn't know it, but there are 2 Americans on that pitch that day. Slonina, 90 minutes in a win. And apparently goalkeeper of the week or something like that. This is good to see. It's good experience. I wouldn't bust out the Vaseline or anything like that and start jerking it. He's still got a long way to go development-wise with his feet.
There's no need to expedite anything with him right now.
Just
let him play in the Olympics.
Yep.
Let him continue to develop at a club. I mean, he's gonna go out on another loan come next season.
Yep.
I mean, he's not going to be playing for Chelsea by any means right now.
No.
Which is good. He hopefully Chelsea find him a more challenging. Although, quite frankly,
he's been challenged.
He's been challenged quite a bit.
Yeah.
I look at this as an overall success because, he'll make some mistakes. He'll get goals scored on him, but as a whole, this is about as challenged as the goalkeeper will get, and he's on loan, so it doesn't really matter if Eupen stays up or goes down.
And believe me, if he was poor, Eupen would have replaced him. That's right, Pete. It's Eupen.
Speaking of which, BMR says Pete wasn't a big fan. He's not as impressed as other people are, but he's also in the boat saying he's a very good prospect of a goalkeeper. He needs more time.
And if he was playing like shit, they would have put on one of the 30-year-old goalkeepers that they had. All right. They were worried about his experience, or they were worried about his maturity, or they were worried about his play. They got other goalkeepers at Eupen. He didn't have to play this 19-year-old kid, which is ridiculous. 19-year-olds don't start at goalkeeper. That's not some normal thing anywhere in Europe. All right, Zach Booth, who often gets ignored, got 30 minutes for Volendam in a loss. They're at the bottom of the table. They're hurting. Your homeboy, Alex Mendez, went 68 minutes in a loss. And that was against Benji Michel's Aruca in the Portuguese league. And Benji didn't play. He was in the 18, didn't see any minutes, which was surprising because I think Aruca was kicking the shit out of him. You'd think you'd give the striker some shit time. Porto went 90 in a loss versus Liverpool's U21s for Fulham. No sign of Figueroa with Liverpool's U21s. I think he's gotten a game or two for the bigger boy use instead of the U19s. But no sign of him here. Dietz and Green, as you mentioned earlier, for Greuther Fürth, another win. They sit in second in the league, or is it third? Somewhere around there. I think second, you said. Johan Gomez, 90 minutes for Braunschweig in a win. That's Jonathan's older brother, who we also seen on the youth teams. Justin Butler. There's a guy who disappeared off the fucking face of the earth. Justin Butler was originally a Bayern Academy player and youth player. Graduate, went to Ingolstadt. Ingolstadt fell off the fucking face of the earth. Now he's at Dortmund 2. And he's an older kid, too, at this point. He's like 23, 24. And he's playing for Dortmund 2. He went 70. Dortmund 2 won. This is down in Bundesliga 3. Thought I'd bring him up because I was shocked to see his name. I was like, holy shit, he's playing still. Speaking of guys who disappeared, Joe Effort. Go ahead.
I'll say BMR was asking, who was the other guy?
Justin Butler?
Yeah.
Justin Butler was and his brother, too, also was there. I think they were both at Bayern Academy at the same time. This is years ago. And another kid, I think
it was like 23, has to be years ago.
There's another kid named Justin Hawkins also in there. Anyhow, the point being, I thought his career was done. And, I mean, we saw Maloney go from Dortmund 2 to a real team. Well, 2 Bundesliga team. They got promoted to the real Bundesliga, and now he's playing in real Bundesliga. So it can happen.
Too, man.
Yeah, and Maloney, he's not a teenager anymore. Joe Effort. There's a guy who disappeared, was in Scotland, I think, with Motherwell, And then before that, he was somewhere in Belgium. I can't remember the name of the team. But Joe Effort's still around. He's in Greece playing for Giannina in the Greek, what do they call it? The Super League? Certainly not the Greek Premier
I'm pretty
League.
sure. I'm pretty sure it's Super League, yeah.
He got 8 minutes. Brendan Vasquez got 90 minutes, scored 2 goals in a win for Monterrey, and everybody busted a fucking load who was a Brandon Vasquez fan on Twitter. And he is now the next thing next to God, I guess. But let's all calm down our horses here. I like this for Brandon. I'm liking that he's scoring goals, something that he failed to do as much last year with Cincinnati last season, because if he would have kept up the streak he had the season before at Cincinnati, you would expect a lot more for him the last season at Cincinnati, and he didn't come with it last season. He didn't bring it. But so far, he's brought it.
He's already scored like half as many goals.
I know. It's crazy.
What, in 2 games? 3 games?
But that header he had at that angle, that was sweet. Jesus, that was a great header. I got to give Vasquez that. I mean, that was some good shit. And that's all I got. Figueroa got an assist on Saturday. So Figueroa's back down. So he got like 1 game with the U21s, and now he's back down to the U18s. Okay. I thought maybe once I saw him play,
he might be with the U21s. You said
he got 1 game with the U21s this season.
So he might be with that team, but then playing down to the U18s just to get minutes.
No, that makes sense. I mean, he's still a really young kid. I just thought once I saw him at the U21s that maybe he'd stay there because he was that good, which gave me hope. And then he's back with the U18s. So, and maybe he's practicing with the U21s. We don't know. We don't have an insight into Liverpool's, training fields. So hard to say. And that's it for Yanks abroad. That's it.
Okay.
Yanks abroad. It is Yanks abroad. Yanks abroad. It's Yanks abroad. All right. More topics before I start singing again.
I got a nice video of how you described AC Milan's performances of recent.
Okay.
I'm going to make sure this audio is turned down. We don't need the audio. But first of all, I want to say, roller skating's gotten a bad rep, since the 90s.
70s.
I'm talking about that's rollerblading is the 90s, I guess.
Yeah.
But roller skating in general has gotten a bad rep. But what's the
bad
cool.
rep? What's the bad rep though?
It's just not cool, Derek.
Oh, it's not cool to roller skate.
Skate, yes.
Okay.
So
I didn't know that.
You're really setting me up. You're really setting me up to fail there, man. To be canceled and everything. No, Brett, please expand on that. What's the bad rep behind roller skating?
I really honestly don't know. I'm being honest. I don't know the rep.
Yeah. What's not cool about roller skating is obviously being good at it, but also trying to be cool while not being good at it.
That was the big thing in the 70s, right? With the disco music.
80s too.
Guys were all like dancing and shit.
Well, we weren't doing that much, but yeah.
Not in the 80s. I'm talking the 70s. And then all the, the porn movies had the roller skate girl that came over for pizza.
Yeah.
For pizza.
Yeah. But here's how, when you're describing AC Milan and
yes,
something's not clicking,
right?
And they're going to be in a world of hurt if they continue playing like this. This is the video that came to my mind.
I don't know if they're going to be a world of hurt, but okay.
He's trying to be cool.
Wow, that almost looked like he fucked up on purpose. It was so good.
He was falling for 5 to 7 business days.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and he's still fucking up after that. He's just trying for attention. That's got to be on purpose. Nobody. That kid should be doing physical comedy in a movie somewhere. Because that was too good. That was almost too good to be real. All right, what else we got?
All the other stuff for the end. Let's go ahead and talk about the main topic here.
Oh, dude, that's going to take us to the end. I guarantee it.
I know. Maybe we don't do any of the fluff at the end. Maybe we just like, hey, we've been on here for like 5 hours. We don't know.
I mean, you got so many dumbasses to reply to. It's unreal. We got dumb asses of the week. Boom, boom. Jack Pineda. That was graceful. It was one of the most graceful falls I've ever seen. Like I said, physical comedy should be like old school physical comedy, like Charlie Chaplin shit. Worst first date
idea.
Well,
it depends. It depends on the era. Because to your point, a first date going roller skating in the 70s, everybody knew how to do that shit.
In high
They're
school,
all out there doing their little disco dancing to it and all that stuff. I mean, everybody knew how to skate. 80s, people still skated. 90s, everybody was rollerblading at that point.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, it just.
I mean, they used
not
to play
so nice now.
all through the 70s. The big disco music. When people were rollerblading and dancing and shit on their rollerblades, and dudes were wearing their big collared shirts and their bell-bottom pants and shit. Yeah, it was big in the 70s. So in the 70s, not such a bad first date idea, unless you're 30. Yeah, I got to take them when you're 30 years old. I'm not taking, unless she's like 19.
So we went, for when Jackson was in Cub Scouts last year, we went, they had a den party at this roller rink. And I was actually really surprised that there was still a roller rink around here.
Mm-hmm.
We had to go all the way up to Anderson for this, but and we're out there and not having roller skated for decades. Going back out there was the strangest thing. So as of right now, if you take a date who's never roller skated before to roller skate for your first date, yeah, that's not gonna end well.
Yeah, be prepared to pick up pieces of her skull from the fucking skating rink. So yeah. Make her wear a helmet or something because she's falling. All right.
Kumar says roller rinks and arcades died a quick death. Arcades are making a comeback, but you know where they're making the comeback? In a bar.
Oh, I thought you were going to say your butthole. All right. Where are we going next?
Out there, apparently.
Real arcade fire there.
Well.
Depending on the day of the week, and what you had for dinner. All right, let's see. Gio Reyna might have played his last match as a Dortmund player. I don't think so. There is no way scouts watch him play and don't think he's worth the risk due to the injuries. Again, we talked about his injuries here, right?
Everybody's talking about this.
It's like, dude, he broke his fucking leg. Somebody broke his leg. That's not injury prone. That's somebody taking a baseball bat and fucking hitting your leg and breaking it.
Well, I mean, do you think teams who are scouting players are just going on to transfer market and like, oh my God, he was injured for like 2.5 years?
Yeah.
Oh,
but then they're not stupid. They go, okay, the first time it was for a muscle injury or whatever, but the last one, somebody broke his fucking leg. Okay? That's not his fucking fault. And that does not make you injury prone. You want injury prone? Go look up Fabian Johnson, who missed like 300 games in his career. All right? And then wondered why nobody in MLS wanted to sign him. Well, dude, come on. Get realistic. In this case, if I hear another dumb fucker talk about injury prone, Gio Reyna, I'm just gonna throw mad shouts at the lawn, I guess. All right. The transfer window closes on Thursday, so a lot can happen, but front runners seem to be Forest, Marseille, and Sevilla. None of those are looking like they're viable or going to happen at this point, folks. So guess the 29 turned out to be right on this one. I think he's going to be right because then you get in the press, you have Terzic talking about this too, right? I know he's had 2 muscle injuries or a strain and whatever, but that was a while back. The last one, which took a long time to come back from, was the broken leg.
I just didn't want to second guess BMR. He's our wealth of knowledge here. Mm-hmm. I went on Transfer Market while we were talking there, just take a look. And yes, he's had a bunch of. If you look at just the list of injuries he's had, he's like, oh my God, that's a lot of injuries. But if you look at the number of games he missed per injury, he's had 2 big injuries: the muscle injury and then the broken leg.
Right.
And then all the other little ones you see there, like, oh, he's missed one game. Oh,
he had the flu one time,
So, people who were chalking it up and saying he's injury prone. He's injury prone. He's not injury prone. And yes, he did miss most of 2021 and 2022. And that was the muscle injury, 100%. That's the only injury that you could use against him at this point, because it's not the broken leg. Because it's not like him. It's not like he's like stepping on a banana peel and slipping and breaking his leg. A rude Canadian came over and cleated his leg
with a baseball bat.
Yeah, it was bad. And the muscle injury, irony behind it is once they got the new medical staff, and Fumar brings this up, once you brought the new injuries or the new medical staff in there, the injuries kind of dissipated.
Of course, if you go look at their injury list right now at Dortmund, it's like 9 players long. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So I don't know if that makes him injured. Jordan Morris, that's injury prone. Who's
you brought up Fabian? You brought up
Spaghetti
Bacon the other show.
Spaghetti tendons.
Yeah.
Who's that guy? Played in Norway. Played in Scandinavia.
Gat.
Josh Gat. Now that guy's injury. Yeah.
John O'Brien. Let's keep going all the way back.
John O'Brien. Yeah.
I brought up Bacon, and I know that it's not necessarily an injury prone, but it's the same injury over and over again. Tyler Adams. Daniel brought that up. I'm sure somebody else
Tyler
brought
Adams.
But yeah.
If I am a scout,
DK, there's one. How about that? Let's talk about DK.
Yes. If I'm a scout,
injured more than he's played.
I do not look at Gio Reyna as injury prone. I see he's had injuries, but I saw there was only 2 significant ones, and one of them was a broken fucking leg. That's one significant injury. The rest of them misses are small things for a very short amount of time.
Yeah.
Josie, hamstring out the door, but surprisingly, Josie would go stretches with being healthy. Well, early on. But.
Yeah, and that's my point. He said 2 notable injuries, and a couple of like one game, a lot of one game nagging injuries. They may all coincide, quite frankly. I think he had flu and COVID like 45 times.
Yeah. Maybe he's sick. He's sick prone.
Weak immune system. Yeah.
So is this the post with all the morons?
He's like, hey, Gio, I told you when you go play in Mexico, don't drink the water.
Yeah, gives you diarrhea.
This is the post. So the with the Gio rumors going around, he was getting bagged on because of the locations that were being brought up. Nottingham, Marseille, and then Sevilla. And then they're like, oh, God, that's the best he can get. And then all of a sudden it's like being talked about possibly not going to any of those places this winter.
Right.
And it's almost like somebody mentioned that.
Terzic.
Yeah.
Terzic also mentioned it along with Diego.
I mentioned before the silly season even started that I don't foresee a winter move.
Yeah, I didn't really either. Because I thought they were going to ask a lot for him. A lot more than some teams are going to pretend that they think he's worth, because they're going to try to get the best bargain. So they'll come in and say 15 bottom line, and then Marseille will go, nah, we can do 10. And they're not going to 10. They want 15, and they're not going anywhere else. So barely makes MLS DP level wages. MLS should go for him. So Night Truth, this is all about just money for you, right? I mean, this is the same thing we got from Max, right? Oh, well, all those 3 guys, Reyna, Pulisic, McKennie, will all be back in MLS because MLS is going to throw a shit ton of money. All right, well, maybe that's the case, but I can guarantee you Reyna has no goddamn intention of playing in MLS any fucking time soon.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, we just saw Weston's Juve's renewal contract that was being offered.
Right,
like 2.7 million euro, and people were talking about how like Syria or Italy has a tendency of posting the salaries after taxes, so it's gonna be a bit different, I guess. But, MLS could afford 3 times that for Weston. Yeah, but would Weston take it? I don't think so.
And they're not. He says MLS should go for him. MLS isn't going to, because they know. They can try, but they're not going to waste their time because they know he does not want to play there. Not yet. Call him again when he's 32. All right.
Yeah. I wonder if New York City has discovery rights on Gio.
Probably.
Stupid fucking rule. We'll discover this guy.
This is such a simplistic. He may call himself Night Truth, but in the end, even though he's not saying a lie, it's just a really simple way of thinking of the game. Like this only comes down to one thing, and that's dollars and cents. Don't confuse Gio Reyna for corporate America. They're two different things. Players have what are called aspirations and ambitions, and wanting to test themselves at the highest level. They don't want to look back on their career like Landon Donovan goes and say, yeah, one thing I regret is I didn't play in Europe enough. Because that's what he says now.
Yeah, Landon's like, hey, he should come to MLS.
But then tells Reyna or Pulisic to come back to MLS so he can get playing time. Man, don't push your agenda on him. Don't push your life. This is like a father and son thing almost for him. Like, well, it worked for me. Well, okay, it worked for you, but it's not working for a lot. Look at all the Americans playing in the league right now. When Landon Donovan was a part of MLS, he was one of the best players in the league. There is no such thing. All the best players at every single fucking position in MLS are foreigners. Period. End of story. On an MLS All-Star team, if you were being truly honest, would there even be outside of maybe a Zimmerman or a Miazga at the center back spots? Maybe a lot of Americans on a true MLS All-Star team that was picked out of just by pure talent? No. The best Americans don't play in MLS. Get over it. Oh, this one. Orange. Guy as soft as tissue. Your opinions are soft as a flaccid fucking pussy. God. Massively overhyped and overrated. No, he's not. Your post is. Sense of entitlement for some reason. Doesn't have entitlement issues. He fucking is cocky. It's not entitlement. And Borussia Dortmund is a real club with quality, and Reyna was not good enough. Who is this fucking loser?
Well, that's the big point, right? That's what people are going to hint at. Well, he's not even good enough to play for Dortmund. Why would he feel like he needs to go somewhere else? Blah, blah, blah. But he was good enough for Dortmund. Mm-hmm. He literally started and played
as a teenager
of an entire season 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then he got injured, and he came back, and the coach's mentality as far as how Dortmund should play changed.
Different coach.
He doesn't. I thought Terzic's been coaching since like the Coof.
I don't think so.
Oh, I don't know.
I think Terzic's been there a couple seasons.
At best. But either way, the mentality has changed and what is being required of the players, and that's fine. The coaches can have their opinions on players, and they have their favorites and who they want and how they rate them. That's their prerogative. They're gonna get picked over by the media. They're gonna get picked over by the board as far as whether or not that's the right decision. And it might not be. I mean, it might be the wrong decision for Dortmund in this situation. I mean, Terzic might not be there next season.
He's not going to be. They already said he's not going to be.
Here we go.
Yeah. My prerogative. Oh, by the way, Terzic even said in an article in Bild, one sentence, he said, I expect Reyna's never come up to me and said he's got a problem with me or playing time or that he wants to leave fucking Dortmund. So I expect him to be around.
Says I expect him to be available to me on Friday.
There you go.
And the other quote you're referring to is here on the BBB Buzz.
Yeah, which one is it? Gio is fit and healthy and therefore an option for starting 11 with absences we have. Gio hasn't approached me and expressed a desire to leave. Therefore, it is not an issue for me at the moment. So, I don't know what Terzic is like. He just has blinders on because it's been all over the news. Like, he doesn't. But I guess since Gio didn't approach him and say, I want to leave, therefore it's all fine and dandy, even though he got a new agent, his dad visited, and they've been looking for a new club, but they couldn't come up with a club willing to pay the fee that they wanted and without the guarantees they expected in playing time. They wanted some guarantee of playing time. I don't know whether I want to average 60 minutes a game. And they're like, no, we can't give you any guarantees. Most teams won't, honestly, unless they're desperate to get you. Then they'll make false promises. And anyhow,
I don't know. Here's Terzic praises Gio Reyna's influence off the bench
I hate
amid
the
uncertain future.
I hate the off the bench part.
But I mean that's factual though.
It
He
is
is
factual, but
off the bench, and he does influence the game differently when he comes in because he does create chances. Now, unfortunately, whether the players fuck it up or the keepers make saves or there's some solid defensive plays or whatever, it hasn't fallen. He hasn't got any assists yet, or I don't know if he's got any assists. He hasn't got any goals. Put it that way.
not like last season where he come in for 10 minutes and seemed like he was scoring a goal every fucking game at the end of the season.
But
So,
I mean, there've been times throughout these matches of recent where you're looking and you're like, oh, geez, that would have been a goal in the other game.
well,
That was
and
a great
then
stop. That was a great save. Whatever,
this weekend he had that shot inside the box that got blocked by a toe tip.
Yep.
Otherwise, that fucker's going in. So,
But does this right here though? Either Terzic's bipolar or he's backpedaling. Because it wasn't too long ago, before the silly season even started, that Terzic was like, "Why, Gio's defensive ability is just not there for me."
yeah,
That's my problem with him right now.
yeah, that wasn't too long ago. And then he wouldn't play Moukoko either. And
Yeah.
what happened? Moukoko starts this last game too. So it's like maybe, he's feeling the pressure from the board, or
You make nice with Gio, or else you're
Yeah.
really going to be gone.
yeah, because we deserve a lot more than 15 million for this player. That we
He
had
was
a lot
worth
of
40 million a year and a half ago. What the fuck, guys?
Yeah, I mean he's 25% down from where his expected sales numbers were before. You're fucking us out of $30 million, Terzic. And if you're not going to do the same to us with Moukoko. So you're going to play that motherfucker as well. So maybe that's what's going on. Isn't Bino Gittins? Isn't he alone? I can't remember, but it's like,
No, he was an academy kid, I thought.
was he? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So they were looking to sell him too, although I have not been impressed by him. I'm sorry. All season long, he seems like a selfish player, keeps his head down way too much and dribbles too often and loses the ball. So I don't know. You rather play and start. That guy got a bunch of starts this season, but not Reyna. I know they don't exactly play the same position, but they don't really play Reyna's position. So he's kind of forced sometimes to go out wide. They don't always set up where it's like, here you go, Reyna, here's a spot for you. All right, any other idiots? I'm sure there are.
I mean, there's MLS inbound by 2026.
Oh, yeah. It's hilarious watching the anti-GGG crowd desperately cling to the hope that Gio Reyna is the boy wonder they thought he was, all because GGG benched him at the World Cup. Just admit it already. Y'all were wrong and GGG was right. You're a fucking idiot there, bastard. And he's like, oh, man, and later on he said something about, yeah, I mean, oh, you guys are so triggered, ha, ha, ha. Like, he takes pride in, I guess, triggering people. That's called low expectations. If that's what you're on X to do, is to trigger people by making stupid comments that make you look like a fucking moron so you can trigger people, then you have very low expectations in life. Very tiny, like micro dick fucking expectations going forward for yourself. People are having serious discussions about this. If that guy's not serious about his opinion, then don't post it.
I'm only going to make the transition over here because he does come up in this one as well. So
this is good. This is a very good comment, Brian. Ein Schwartzfeld, superior U.S. men's national team. Hotly debated. Only people against Reyna are clueless and ignorant of what talent looks like. That or their U.S. soccer muppets still obsessed with Reynagate. Yes, even in spite of his lack of playing time under Terzic, so far he is still a creative difference maker. Yeah, he is. That's a good post. That's a solid post. A solid take. Am I supposed to read this? Gio Reyna is a hotly debated commodity in America.
No, don't worry about Pete's thing here.
Okay, that's why I asked. Do you want me to read that? Yep. IMO, only people debating Gio are still butthurt by the World Cup fiasco. Or other nation trolls. I think there are a lot of trolls. I think people take pleasure in triggering people, or that's what they say, trigger. Yeah. I mean, for me, it's just like, no, you're a dumbass. And, one of the guys.
Good. Finish your thought.
Well, one of the guy that posted one of these, his name was Bayern something. And he's like, as a Dortmund fan, I can tell you he's not Dortmund quality. I'm like, okay, Bayern. That's all I posted. I'm like, okay. That's just a troll, dude. It's a troll.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Most of the people I've seen through my Twitter feed at least, are Mexican fans posting it, and of course they're going to troll. And
That doesn't even bother me.
Well, that doesn't bother me. I don't respond to any of it, but I mean, I know what it is. I know exactly what these people are posting, what they are. So again, they're either still butthurt about what happened during the World Cup fiasco, or predominantly they've been Mexican fans who have been trolling U.S. fans.
So do you
That's all
think,
it is, guys?
like if we go to Dare Bastard back up there, the earlier one we just read,
I'm going to scroll down here in a second. Yes,
I don't think he's from Mexico.
No, he's just a different troll, or he could be butthurt about the World Cup. I mean, he clearly was. He's yeah. So I do mention, I go, one might not rate him as highly as the next, but anyone with eyes can see the kid has talent.
Yes,
or is talented, and that's the thing. You might not necessarily rate him as high as, say, Pete or Tact or whomever, anybody else. It can vary as far as how you rate players, and that's how it is. I mean, I know Pete's not sold on Sabi, but if you go through Twitter feeds, you'll see a lot of people high on him, which is fine. There can be a varying degree of like and dislike. I mean, we see that with all the players. Some people rate Ferreira, some people don't rate Ferreira. That's fine.
Right. I'd rather people err on the side of, as far as Reyna goes, that he still has the potential to be a wonder boy, instead of saying things like he's not quality. Well, then you got broken eyeballs. Broken eyeballs. Just being honest, history will rewrite itself. Reyna is considered a punk during a transfer to a lesser than top 5 team. I don't know what that one's about. Sorry. I read it. Oh, there's your bastard again.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only reason I switched over to this. But yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you got to tell me what to read because I don't know what you're scrolling to.
You started reading Larry's comment. He goes, basically, if Reyna is not transferred to a top 5 team, history will rewrite itself as saying that he's a punk. He's not as good as he was, or something like along those lines.
I don't know. A top 5 team?
Top 5 league, I guess.
Well, top 5 league is totally fine. Top 5 team? I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know who's going to open the coffers right now in a top 5 team. And I don't even know who the top 5 teams are because those are flip-flopping around so much around the world at this point. Obviously, Bayern is not flip-flopping, but they're not playing very well right now. Anyhow, U.S. fans on Twitter are saying that Jedi is a top 5 left back in the world. Well, then they're smoking weed.
Yeah.
He's very good, but he's not a top 5 left back in the world. He's just not. He's not.
Yeah. Well, and somebody else mentioned it earlier while we were going off on a different one, that we as, I don't know if it was you and me or the royal we, if you will,
sure,
tend to overrate American players. And there's definitely a bit of that. I mean, there's definitely a bit of where people are like, oh my God, he's the insert player here is the best player in Serie A or in EPL or whatever. And it's like, all right, let's backpedal a little bit here, guys. Come on, he's a good player and everything. Pulisic's a great player and everything like that. Is he the best? Is he the best player? No.
He may not even be the best. He may not even be the best player on AC Milan. I mean, you could argue there are other guys that are having just rip-roaring seasons. Theo, for instance, just every time he plays for AC Milan is a badass. I'm sorry, he just is. And I mean, I don't know any other player that's that consistent, whether he plays it back or he plays center back. Doesn't matter where they play Theo. He's just a badass.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple. But is he maybe the best attacking winger they have? Well, then you got to compare him to Leao. I mean, my personal opinion, he has been better than Leao. Mm-hmm. But that's my personal opinion from watching the games. I think that Pulisic's much more plays way better defense, gets back, hustles more, also delivers passes. Like he's got his head up looking for people. He's not a greedy player. And, he's taken advantage of the goals when he's had the chances. So, whereas Leao, I think, is sort of a selfish guy sometimes. Larry, history says he will rewrite itself if Gio is a bust the next 3 years. No way he's going to be a bust unless he's injured.
But to that point, though, let's just talk about the hypothetical. If Gio does bust.
You're not going to.
Hypothetical.
I can't do it, Brett.
In a world where Gio is a bust. No, if it happens, he's just going to fall into a long list of hyped youth players who didn't pan out. Now, I'm with you, Derek. I can't imagine a world where he's a bust.
No.
But I'm just saying, if that happens, he's just going to fall in line with every other bust that's happened. And we move on.
There's no way if this kid is a bust, it's because somebody broke his leg in 3 places and he can't run anymore.
Yeah.
That's going to be that's a Zalalem, incident.
Yeah.
Because just the eyeball test alone, there's just no fucking way this kid can bust. Wes might be most impactful on Juve. That we agree with. We agree he's been the most impactful player on Juve this season.
I wanted to bring this up because we were talking about how we as American fans tend to overhype our American players. But then you have a situation like this where I think arguably you could make the point that he has this, especially this season, he has been one of the most impactful players for the team.
But is he one of the best box-to-box center midfielders? One of the top 5 box-to-box center midfielders in the world? No, he's not. He might be in the top 20, the top 50. I don't know. But he ain't in the top 5. There are lots of great center midfielders out there. Lots of great ones. He just happens to play really well right now for Juve. Let me say this. If he keeps this up for a couple seasons, people are going to start to look at him as one of the best center midfielders in the world. Thank you, AJ1410, blah, 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 blah. For $199, brother. Sebastian Soto comeback season. Let's go.
No.
Hey, man. After coming back from his time in the Alps in a log cabin, eating beaver, and
time in Scotland eating haggis.
Well, that he ate haggis, but most recently he took his sabbatical last year into the woods, ate squirrel, grew a big fucking huge beard, came back, cleaned himself up, shaved up, played in a friendly. So there you go. For Klagenfurt. All right. The current transfer window is proving that Reyna's talent is clearly overvalued. Gio stands. Oh, Jesus. Can't seem to understand the U.S. men's national team can win without him, and his own club is treating him like poorly raised livestock, and possible transfer teams are treating him as such. No, Dortmund don't want to get rid of him.
No.
So that's a ridiculous thing to say. They don't want to because especially the board knows that he's way down from his original value of $4 million. And I would suspect we're going to see a lot more Moukoko and Reyna for the rest of the season.
If I had to put money on it, I would imagine that the board wants to re-sign Reyna, get him playing time, get his value back up. Now, of course, they're a selling club. And outside of the most recent years, they've predominantly been a very young squad, especially in the attack. They build up that value and they sell the player. Now, you can't necessarily do that if your coach, current manager, is playing a bunch of mid to late 20s and up.
Yeah.
And your young prospects who are coming out of contract soon, value is decreasing steadily because they're not getting playing time.
And obviously, Terzic values him to some extent because he used him as a super sub last season every fucking game. So that tells you, oh, well, this is a guy that comes in and makes an impact when we need a goal. And then the one time he did get a start this season, I agree. It was one of the worst games I've seen Reyna play all season. It was disappointing. And it wasn't that it was horrible. It's just that he was playing wide left. And every time he got the ball, there were 3 guys around him. So it wasn't really where he should play. He needs to play more in the middle of the park. Otherwise, you could trap anybody out wide if you put a couple guys on him. Unless you're talking about some of the like Mbappe, you can't necessarily box him out. He's just too fucking fast. But, Reyna's not slow, but he ain't Mbappe. Dude, nobody wants him. That's untrue. They do want him. They did want him. They're just not willing to pay $15 million. And we said no one in a fucking January transfer window is going to cough up $15 million. No way. Not happening.
And that we were talking about this before the show, guys. I was sitting there trying to think of like how many big moves occurred during the winter window, and most of the big moves I imagine happened during the winter window, and I'd have to go back and take a look. I guess are probably bottom feeding teams that want to stave off relegation.
Yeah.
So they make Hail Mary, overpriced moves sometimes.
Rudder.
That's one we brought up. Yeah.
Yep.
In hopes to stave off relegation, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But as a whole, I mean, I don't know too many. I mean, too many of the top teams that are sitting there looking at the winter window, going like, let's break some bank here and let's get this prospect.
Especially after Dortmund said he is not for loan. You want him? Buy him. Here's our bottom line figure. And Nottingham Forest can't afford under the scrutiny they are under right now with financial fair play to spend $15 million.
Especially if they're going to be getting another goalkeeper.
And then Marseille, I doubt they have that kind of money just laying around. Marseille's another team that they're kind of odd. They do develop players and sell them, but they also bring back old players too. And then you had Sevilla. I don't think Sevilla's pumping out $50 million for anybody right now. That's a lot. That's EPL money. I don't think they're doing it. 15 million? No, I don't think so. So it's not that people don't want him. I think it's that people can't afford the asking price right now in the middle of the season in January. Yes, he's going to stay at Dortmund, BMR. Unfortunately, we would like to see a loan, but Dortmund doesn't want a loan. They want you to come out and buy him for 15 mil, bottom line. And no one, I think the highest bid they got, I was told, was $10 million, $11 million. And that's no. Bottom line for Dortmund was 15 mil. That's the lowest they're going.
That's even less than what its current value is worth at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
The negotiations ended up failing at some point.
Yep.
Between all the teams that were interested in, and Dortmund's fine with bringing him back for these last 6. They're going to have to make a decision at some point, though, of course. Come this summer, they're either going to resign him or they're going to offload him because they're not going to lose him for free. They're not going to lose him on free.
Yeah.
So I imagine that the second half of the season, that Gio's probably going to find more playing time. And I'm not going to say he's going to be a starter and he's not going to play every game or whatever, but he'll find more playing time than the 15 minutes here, then 2 games off, and 10 minutes there.
More like 20.
Yeah, and he'll work his way up. Hopefully he'll get some stats to pad in there, some goals, some assists.
Yeah.
And then come summer, I don't see him re-signing with Dortmund. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously,
new manager.
It'd have to be some very promising things going on there.
Now,
I imagine that they're probably going to end up selling him, and he'll have a wider range of teams that are going to be vying for his services. How many Bundesliga teams could use him?
Yeah, exactly. And if Fabian Hürzeler, for instance, who is the hottest coach in the Bundesliga right now that all the Bundesliga teams want. But unfortunately for all the Bundesliga teams that want him, St. Pauli is going up next season. And I really doubt he's going to leave after bringing the team up to promotion. He's going to stick it out at least a season or 2 there if they stay up. And I can't really think – I could think of a few other possibilities for managers, but right now we don't know who that's going to be for Dortmund. So that would be part of your decision-making process if you're Reyna as well. If you get the kind of coach who plays attacking style football, unlike what Dortmund has somehow transformed into this season, which is a very conservative playing club. But if you get somebody who likes to play attacking style, then you go, okay, maybe this guy will play me. He's not going to be worried so much about my defense. He wants me to go score goals and create opportunities. Gio demanded a loan and nobody cared. No, that's not what happened, Larry. That's not how negotiations went at all. Dortmund came out and said, no loan. No loan. We're not loaning Gio Reyna. If you want him, buy him. Remember, he's under contract. Gio Reyna can't just do, and his agent can't just do whatever they want. He's got a fucking contract. And the contract says that Dortmund don't have to loan him. They basically said, you want him, you come buy him. And here's the bottom line price. And if you can't afford it, fuck off. We're keeping him because we don't expect him not to be useful. We're going to continue to play him 10, 15, 20, hopefully 20 minutes a game. 25 minutes a game would be nice. 30. I'd like 30. Maybe an occasional start. Maybe he'll get another shot. They got 9 guys injured, and he still can't find a starting spot, so that's very distressing. But, yeah, he's staying. And it isn't because nobody wants him. It's just not the right window. As Brett brought up, summer is when you make your big signings. For most teams, they're just, as Brett said, looking to fill in gaps and holes. Whereas in Nottingham Forest, for example, don't have any. They got Gibbs White. They really don't need Reyna to be crawling up his asshole. And that was one of the discussions they had because Nottingham Forest appears to be keeping Gibbs White. And so they couldn't guarantee Reyna the kind of playing time that Reyna wanted, which I would guess would probably be about at least averaging 60 minutes a game. When you got Gibbs White, you're probably not going to plop Reyna right in there at the center attacking midfield spot for Nottingham Forest. As for Marseille, they simply are not going to pay $15 million. Bottom line. I don't know why we're being so negative about who Reyna is. He's not a bad kid. All this shit about him, he's entitled, he's cocky. It's all fucking, you're pushing all that on this. That's all his parents. His parents were probably a little pushy, entitled. His mom, especially, an entitled, pushy. I don't see that from Reyna. What was he? Did he have after being told he wasn't going to play that much in the World Cup? Did he act like a little baby? Yeah, he did. Learned from it, hopefully, and has moved on. But I've not seen any of that behavior from him this season. Although people want to blow up every tiny thing that happens, like his argument with what's his face, Hummels.
Yeah.
All right. If you've never played soccer, you wouldn't know. But believe me, those conversations happen after games on the field and on the way to the locker room when you're not happy with what somebody else did, and it's not a game ender. Okay, that's how teams do it. That's how any competitive sport works, actually. You're pissed at somebody because they didn't do something you thought they were supposed to do. You're probably going to say something to them. But it's not like there were fisticuffs that went on there, for Christ's sake. Drew, toxic, I guess. This would be very bad for Pulisic. He runs exclusively 3-5-2, not what we want. For Pulisic, this would be incredibly unfortunate after it seemed like he had found a real comfortable home in Milan. Yeah, fuck. I do not want to watch Antonio Conte coach any goddamn team. Any team. Period. No teams. It's more soccer terrorism, and I don't want to watch it. It's like having to watch Juve, which has gotten a little bit better, but it was beginning of the season. It's hard to watch those games, Brett. Soccer terrorism, as they call it. The kids call it these days. Bully can play 10, shadow striker in a 3-5-2. He could. But I sure like him out wide because that's where he can really use his speed and quickness. In the middle of the field, he's not Reyna. The ball doesn't he's stick to him like glue, right? So he needs to use his pace and his speed. Conte ran a 3-4-2-1 at Spurs as well. Man, I'm not a fan of Conte. I don't like him as a person either. I don't like Conte as a person. He is a player blamer. Nothing is ever Conte's fault. Nothing ever. And I don't like those kind of managers. He's certainly not a player manager guy. He's not a relatable guy in a lot of ways for some people. Yeah, I don't know. He's a pain in the ass to play for. From everything I've heard, players do not build relationships with him. He's not a relationship builder. He's a pure manager, and he's a no-nonsense motherfucker. And those guys work for some players. That works. It wouldn't work for me as a player, personally. I want to know my coach. I want to know he's got my back. I want to know that the first things that go wrong, he's not going to turn on me and blame it on the team or blame it on the club. The owners of the club. Nothing was ever Conte's fault. I don't want to watch that dude coach AC Milan. Please, God, anybody but fucking. I'll take Jose Mourinho over goddamn, and that's terrorism ball too sometimes, over Conte. I don't know. Big opinions from Gnawbone, Indiana. All right. Have we?
A couple things just
okay.
to end the show.
Okay.
Another very short show for us, guys. It's only 2 hours long. So let's just end it on a bit of a humorous note here.
Okay.
You ever see those like Dude Perfect videos where they do stuff and you're like, oh my goodness, that's amazing how they did that.
Is this going to somehow relate back to our usual ending theme of stepsisters?
No, I've got that for last. We'll pull it up here in just a
Oh,
second.
okay.
This is just a 10-second video.
You really have one?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Of course.
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about now.
Here, hooked us up with this one, yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right. I'm like, seriously? I forgot about the article. Sorry.
All right, so here's a failed Dude Perfect video.
Okay.
No, I'm not gonna do the audio. Cost them a beer. I got it. Don't worry. Swing and a miss.
Oh, that was close. Whoa. Oh my God! Holy
out of left field.
Shit. What are these idiots doing around a pole like that? Why are they?
Why aren't you paying attention to it?
Why is he so nonchalant as he's heading towards a goddamn pole in the fucking middle of a lake? Why is there a pole in the middle of a fucking lake?
Maybe it's a flagpole. I don't know.
It's like, hey, dude, you know what? Let's do some funny tricks and let's do it right next to the goddamn pole so you can fucking crack your skull in and die.
You're right. He's just so nonchalant going into that pole. He knows it's there.
He forgets about it or something. Here he loses his brain. Oh, missed the fucking beer. Oh, broken ribs, dude. Broken ribs.
What an idiot.
What an idiot. That's why we have evolution. Get rid of some of these Nimrods out there who don't. They all got together and said, hey, you know, Dave's kind of a dumb dude. So what we'll have him do this trick right next to this pole. So when we throw him the beer, he'll catch the fucking beer and slam his fucking stupid skull right against the fucking pole. And it worked, except it missed his skull. Hit him right in the rib cage. Okay.
We always have a Florida segment with probably like an alligator or snake or something like that. We're gonna change countries here. We're actually gonna go to Costa Rica for a fun crocodile video.
Okay. This is 18 inches of pure Alabama black snake. Remember that movie? You said snake. It just reminded me of that scene in Full Metal Jacket. Was it 18 inches? Yeah. What did he call it? 18 or 24?
It's been a while since I've seen it.
18 inch. This ain't going to hurt you. It's not tu boku. This is pure 18 inches of black Alabama snake or snake up. I don't know what he said. That's a great line. Great scene. All right. What do we got here? Oh, this is another dipshit. Oh, Jesus. This is just so dumb. And you're teasing him, too.
Oh, what's up, big puppy?
Okay. Is it dead?
No, he just ate a chicken. Gotta give him a kiss, though.
He must know this crocodile.
It doesn't matter if you know this crocodile or not. It's a fucking wild animal.
I know. I wouldn't do it. I don't care if I raised him from little. It's a fucking dinosaur that's still alive. 9 inches? Was that all, Fumar? Pure Alabama black snake. Only 9. Okay. I mean, not that that's not sufficient. That's a good size cock. But I thought it was longer than that. I don't know. Must be reading something into my own psyche there. All right.
Then I mean, I don't know. I don't care how comfortable you are with that crocodile.
No,
again, it's a wild thing. I mean, who are the magicians that had the white tigers and shit?
Oh yeah, the ones that got mauled.
Yeah,
one of them did.
I mean, you spend an entire career with these white tigers, you know, doing all the stuff and everything. And it just takes one thing, one firework to go off to spook the tiger, and all of a sudden the tiger's mauling you.
It's like 2 German guys, right?
Yeah, it's Siegfried and Roy.
2 effeminate.
Thanks, BMR. Thanks, David D. You guys both have me covered there, and there's Logan Hill with it as well.
2 effeminate German guys, I think.
Yeah. Why?
I mean, it made them a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I still wouldn't want my face ripped off by a tiger.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen, they exploited those animals for so many years. And one day that tiger's just like, fuck you, dude. I'm sick of this stupid show you do every fucking night here in Las Vegas. I just want to go back to the jungle and eat a goddamn fucking beaver. All right? I just want to go back to the jungle and eat an antelope. Quit fucking around with me and making me do all these goddamn tricks. Swang! 2 effeminate German guys are right up your alley, Derek. I don't know. I don't know about that. Really, nothing's up my alley right now except for my left hand.
Whatever tickles a pickle.
I don't really tickle it. More like a stroke. All right. Let's see. New York Post. I married my stepbrother and started a family. People call our marriage a train wreck. I wonder why. It doesn't have to be a train wreck. I mean, if it didn't work out, then it's a train wreck. But they can't just call it a train wreck just because you're fucking, stepbrothers and stepsisters. You're not related. It's not a problem. But fucking goddamn Woody Allen can marry his goddamn stepdaughter. Then these 2 motherfuckers can get together and have children. No problemo.
Yeah, that's a different type of fucked up right there, man.
It is.
Woody Allen.
Listen, what Woody Allen did.
I'm going to go and get this 6-year-old Chinese girl and adopt her, and then I'm going to marry her when she turns 18.
Yeah, it's sick. It is. It's
fucked, dude.
That's gross. All right. I mean, I don't know. There's no 2 ways about that. You got her when she was 4, 5. You raised her. Yeah. You raised her as your daughter, and then you fucked her. That's just gross. Woody Allen's a sick motherfucker.
Oh, dude,
he's a great writer. Great writer. Love his movies. Witty guy, but deep down, a very sick and dark person. Very sick. I know that I have a stepson. I have one of my son's stepson. If I were gay, can you imagine? I raised him and then I'm going to fuck him after that? That's so disgusting. So gross. And it's such an intrusion on trust. And just the whole relationship itself is fucked up. Yeah. Because you're my daddy and I fuck you. That's gross. It's just disgusting. And this, on the other hand, are stepbrothers, stepsisters, probably relatively the same age. One wasn't responsible for raising the other one, and they fell in love and they're fucking. It's not a big deal. They got married and had children. Who cares?
Yeah, and you don't know when they became stepbrother and stepsister. Maybe they were like 23 and 25 when they became stepbrother and stepsister because their parents got married, second marriage or whatever, late in their life. Maybe they were already adults, and they're like, hey,
No, they were raised in the same family from the time they were like 8 or 9 or whatever, 10 or 11, and then they got married. I can't remember, but it's not one of those things where, hey, I'm a grown ass college student, and your mom just married my dad. That's cool. Let's fuck. I mean, it wasn't one of those things. It was much younger, which is why everybody else in their family calls it a train wreck, right? I guess.
What doesn't even say the family does? It just says people call our marriage a train wreck.
Well, I got to go back and read this article for the full. I've only read like a few sentences.
I read the title.
No, there you go. Yeah, sorry, Gary. We're gonna have to read this. I think to get the.
I didn't know it was gonna go past the title. Quite frankly.
Yeah.
It's just the whole shtick and all. So.
But listen, if anybody's giving them shit, or if you're in a relationship like this yourself out there, and you need advice, let me tell you, nobody should give you any shit at all right, about a stepbrother, stepsister relationship. As we've said here many times, the whole Brady bunch could have been fucking, and it would have been okay, because none of those girls were related to any of those boys. Now, at that age, that was probably a problem that the show was on, because I think only 2 of them were of age. So, I'm not saying that that's okay. But if you want to fondle each other and kiss, and you're younger, that's fine. All right. Anyhow, that's all we got for stepsister counseling today.
If you want more advice, you can reach out to Pete. He's dabbling. He's dipping his toes into the proverbial pool.
Pete said today on his show, "Do not come to me for stepsister advice. That is purely a straight red card thing." He said that. So respects and props to Pete. He knows where to send people who need advice, especially when it comes to familial questions. All right.
Are you suggesting that Pete might have more advice on first cousins?
I don't know what he knows. He was raised in where? India? I don't know what things are like there. So I don't know how many interfamilial relationships go on in India, but I'm sure he's aware that they do happen. They do happen in a society where fixed marriages are a thing. Anyhow, I'm not going to get into that. Cousin things happen when you do that, right? Thailand. Okay. Oh, fuck. Oh, that's a whole nother
lady boy.
Oh my God, it's a whole nother ball of wax. Thailand. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm sure he's
is raised in Thailand, worked in India, coached in India.
Okay, but raised in Thailand. So believe me, if he was raised in Thailand, there's some funky shit going on in Thailand. Yeah, some questionable shit too. And we all know that. If you know anything about Thailand,
lady boys in Thailand,
why some sick old men go to Thailand to have sex with young underage girls. Yeah, just read the articles. It happens. Sick old businessmen go to Thailand to do weird things to younger women. Anyhow, and I'm sure younger boys too. So I'm not, it's not a selective process. It is for them. But anyhow,
thanks. I was going to ask Pete about relations with first cousins.
Yeah, we'll see how he handles that, especially with all his experience in India and Thailand. Not saying that that's a normal thing in either of those countries. It's just not as abnormal as it is projected to be here in our country. Anyhow, we don't really have fixed marriages in this country. Oh, shit. Anyhow, I'm going to move on from there. Moving on. I'm moving on from this topic because I don't want to generalize about anybody or anything or any country. All right. Until the next time on the Straight Card, make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma, even if she's dead. You can't. And I pardon, my grandma's dead too. It hurts, but I empathize. We will be back on Thursday with another show. What are we going to talk about? Who the fuck knows? I mean, it's really hard to say.
Whatever news pops up from now until then.
Well, you guarantee you that stepsisters will be involved. All right. Good night, guys. Mwah.
She's a trap, she's an unsung novel, turn a lap and get your whole world dazzled on the line, or a phone call with no...
That hurt.
Then what is this thing?
Gio should never play for U.S. men's national team again because of the action of his parents.
What an idiot!